What's up, everybody? Alright, got the new event. It's dog shit, surprise, surprise, with the buffed Ezo, which we will test on, like, Lobo. Well, actually, no, I guess we won't test it on Lobo, because Ezo's new buff is he does even more damage to humanoids. No, it's man. I think he does more damage to man. So, it's a bit specific, but we'll find something where that works on. And then the buffed Lobo, I think his buff is actually the same thing on his skill, where he does more damage to man. So, honestly, not super happy with those buffs because, both Lobo and Ezo could really use a universal buff where they're just better, period, and they gave them niche buffs, and I don't really like when they do that. I like when they do niche buffs for units that don't really need to be buffed very much, right? Like, that's the time to do it. Where, yeah, Ezo needs a pretty big one. Yeah, that's true. The NP did get base damage up, that's true. It's so that the generic, you know, NP buff still happened. But ultimately, that's kind of minor, and that's certainly not going to fix the issue of him being worth 100 base at basically everything. Added new unit, gender bent, of course. I'm pretty sure their excuse this time was, like, the character, like, it's kind of like a Hokusai, right? Because Hokusai's, like, you know, it's supposed to be Hokusai, but it's not actually Hokusai. It's like his daughter or whatever. And then it's something. I don't remember what it is exactly. But for whatever the fuck reason, it's another gender bent. But they didn't have that interesting of a toolkit. I'm not gonna lie. But what we'll do is we'll do the start of this event on the Stheno account, kind of do the basic stuff, and then we'll do Ezo and Lobo and try to find content for them. I'm trying to think, where the hell are we going to test Ezo out, though? Because he needs them to be man and humanoid for him to do his best, which we're going to need. I tell you, even if he is in his niche, I think he's still worth the 100 face. Unless the only thing that matters is burst damage, which sometimes is relevant. But I gotta tell you, man, I got a lot of experience in this game, and if you're doing, like, Ezo, right, like, he's a low star. Now, you might have him grailed and he's your favorite character, and, you know, everything else on the team is really powerful, but in the context of where you normally use 3 stars, burst isn't very good. Like, I really mean that. Like, in my time playing this game over the years, on many accounts, doing many challenge quests, main story fights, etc., generally, raw burst with nothing else is not very good. Now, obviously, burst, if you have other things going for you, is fine, but generally, low star teams are not strong enough to beat a challenge quest through burst. They don't have enough of it. So they'll go bursty, boss still alive, and they all die. And so when you have a new low star unit that is aimed at burst, now what I'm saying obviously is generalizing. I'm not saying like burst is never good, or sometimes it is, but generally burst is not a very good thing for low stars because they're normally are just not going to have enough of it. And it's not like Ezo is now like, oh man, he's a 3-star, but he's doing a Super Orion level damage. He's not, right? Of course he's not. So basically, Ezo's going to show up, he's going to do burst damage, and in that time, he's going to do more damage than 100 face would. So like, oh, I'm winning, but then the boss is still alive, and then he does nothing, and then he just falls behind, and then 100 face just keeps going and going and going and gets ahead of him. Ushi is better in burst than she is in long term, but she's not only burst, right? Ushi's a good example of what I'm talking about, right? Ushi is aimed at more burst damage, but she has so much just raw value, and her cooldowns are short enough that even if it's a long fight, she still works, right? If Ushi shows up, does her shtick, boss is still alive, she's not screwed, right? And actually, Ezo's not screwed either, right? Ezo's not so bad that he shows up, and if he bursts and the boss is still alive, he's not like Dunzo. He's not, but he will become worse than 100 face. So there was no reason to actually use him, right? You only use him because you like him, not because he actually like, sometimes brings something unique to the table. Like, what the fuck is Ushi's competition, right? Even if a fight is more longevity-based, and she's more burst-based, but if the enemy's a caster, I mean, who the fuck else are you going to bring? Right? No offense to Ricky, but Ricky's like a pretty specific style of unit. and he almost will never outpace Ushi unless you're doing like an art team specifically and you're looping and stuff, right? But the thing is, Ricky has no hard survivability, so a lot of times he'll actually pretty much always he will die before Ushi would die. So that's the thing. The game is really different from like a low star point of view, right? Because like a unit not having hard survival will catch up with you so much faster than if you're beating the boss in 3 turns, right? And so like Ushi compared to Ricky, unless the boss is dead by the time Ricky does like his 2 or 3 NPs, Ricky starts to fall off really hard. Now that's okay because what Ricky can do is like do his thing, loop maybe once or twice, taunt, let himself die, bring in a new rider, like maybe Ushi or whatever, then you keep going, right? So he's got a good toolkit for that kind of thing. Izo doesn't really have that. Izo shows up, does his thing, and he doesn't suck, right? His cooldowns are, you know, not too long and that kind of thing, but his sustain is blatantly worse than 100 Faces. If you actually think Izo has more like long-term value than 100 Face, you just can't do math. I'm sorry, you're not understanding like the game very well here, because 100 Phase has a 5 fucking turn evade, and then the heal, which is a short cooldown, and then like the heal buys you time to get the evade, and the evade buys you time to get the heal, and you constantly have 50% crit down on the boss, and you just keep on going and going and going. You know, it's very hard for a low star to actually match that if the fight goes on long enough, and with low stars, the fight pretty much always goes on long enough, right? And hey Ace. But yeah, that's just... Izo's not bad. I gotta stress this. I'm not saying Izo is bad. Izo is fine, but he's kind of like Ushi, except he has competition that is actually better than him. Where Ushi, first off, is still better than 100 Face. I think. I'm sorry, is better than Izo. Excuse me. Yeah, Ushi's better than Izo, and then she doesn't have as steep of competition, so she's like an easy pick. And here's the thing. I'm not saying Izo. I'm not like saying Izo needs to be the best 3-star assassin, and you know the only assassins worth using are ones that are like the absolute meta. That's not. Oh, speaking of Uchi, but that's not what I'm saying. It's like he doesn't have anything unique that he brings to the table that would make you really want to bring him over. If you have a 10-10-10 level 70 100 Face and you have a 10-10-10 level 70 Izo, there's very little reason you would bring Izo over 100 Face, right? And that's kind of the problem this game has with a lot of its meta units, and it's because a lot of times they make the meta units do everything, and it becomes very difficult to compete with them without you also doing everything but then better than them. Now 100 Face really isn't like that. Now 100 Face is close. 100 Face is kind of busted because huge survivability, good damage, good utility, crit down's amazing. But 100 Face doesn't have like debuff clear, doesn't have debuff immunity, doesn't have buff removal, doesn't have, there's a lot, no stun. There's lots of things you could do to another a 3-star assassin to give them something unique that can be useful from time to time to make them better than 100 Face, right? And even Ushi, like yeah, Ushi's hard to beat, I will say. For a low star, Ushi's easy to beat for a high star because you can just have more damage than her. But for low stars, it's really hard to beat Ushi because she has very, very good damage for a low star. And then she's got team buffs, for God's sakes, that also buff herself. She's attack up for herself and her teammates. She has MP gain up for herself and her teammates. She has Star Bomb, and her teammates can take advantage of that. She has a crit buff, got the quick up, evade, right, upgraded MP. That's very hard for a rider to beat that. But they could still have, you know, anti-debuff. They could have more survival than her. Ushi is like solid survival, but nothing like so good that it can't be you know, topped. But yeah, Izo needs something more unique, in my opinion. Like what I would like to have seen his buff be is just something that is not straight damage and or not a niche. The niche is what I really don't like. Like I don't like him having a niche. That's another niche, right? That's just so like good luck getting him to, you know, be valuable. They could have done something like you know, removes buffs on his NP. That'd be kind of crazy, and I don't know if they want to go that far, but that would certainly give him a reason to be used over 100 Face. You could now, you know, lore wise, you got to make some degree of sense, but you can do things like you know, removes his own debuffs when he NPs or something like that. You know, there's things you could do to make Izo more interesting and then unique compared to 100 Face. But right now I'm like, why the hell would I ever use Izo? Like still, I already felt that way. Which I hate that, by the way, because I really like Izo, he's awesome. But at least, the good news is Izo is still like way better than Jekyll and Hyde. He's way better than I guess nowadays I'd say he's better than Deer Mid, right? It's easier to use. If you like Ezo, it's not really hard to use him. He has solid survivability, solid damage. So if you just like the unit, it's not too big of a deal. These enemies explode when they die, apparently. Just, let's see, which one do we want to punch in the face? That one has a crit buff, but this one has 80k and I'm buffed up, so I guess we'll punch that one. We probably just need one crit. And then Lobo, if anything, I'm actually... Okay, really, game? Amazing! Amazing! You got triple crit up, star bomb, attack up. I think we had we had like a 60 and an 80 or 90% crit chance there, and don't crit a single time. Fantastic! And before we lose because of that, that was awful. Seriously, how did we not crit there? You're killing me, game. But yeah, Lobo's buff, I think, is so dog shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck, when we didn't kill him right there either. This is not looking good. We actually might lose this stage. That is, really bad. Yeah, I've done this stage on my main account already, and I beat it very easily. And, but yeah, I didn't have this awful RNG, so, I'm kind of concerned here. These are the last two enemies. Wow, we're going to lose. You gotta be kidding me. We're gonna fucking lose. And it's literally because we did not crit. Like, if we crit one time, we would have won. Because we would have killed that enemy, way sooner. Wow, we didn't crit there either. This is a joke, dude. Maybe the book will be, merciful and, like, buff a lot. Nope. Okay, I cannot fucking... I don't think I could have played that any better. That was just bullshit. Like, that was literally just the game robbing me of 5 AP. I played that correctly, and then we had really good crit chance there, and we just did not fucking crit. Like, are you kidding? I guess I could have attacked one that had lower HP, but then I would have struggled to kill that guy later. Like, that was just horrible luck. Good God. Anyway, yeah, Lobo's buff gives him anti-man, but on his skill, and like, that's just trash. Like, I really dislike when they do that. Like, they kind of did that to Lion King. Actually, they very much did that to Lion King, where, you know, Lion King's not that hot of a 5-star, and then they buffed her with just a pure niche. Now, when her niche comes up, Lion King does really big damage now, but she needs to just be better, right? I really dislike when they do that. When you have a unit that's performing badly, and they're like, hey, let's give them a buff that in most circumstances will do literally nothing. A good example is Moriarty. That buff they gave Moriarty, like with the evil thing, that was so shit. Like, that was so shit. Because, first off, you know, what he does for his teammates is nice, but that's not the main reason you bring him. And one of his teammates were already evil. Then the buff literally doesn't do anything. It's like, Moriarty doesn't need a buff that works sometimes. Moriarty needs a buff that just makes him better, period. Yeah, it's true, they did increase the duration, but that's what was it, 2 turns before for Lobo? Let me look. I can't remember. It was 1 or 2 turns. Yeah, that's true. They made it 3 turns. I did see that, and that's nice, I suppose. But that's really minor. I guess it is better though than some of the other buffs I'm talking about. Like Lion King's buff literally does nothing in most stages, which is pretty ridiculous. All right, let's see. Look at Lobo's buff again. Yeah, they took it from 2 turns to 3 turns. So yeah, it was... His monster strength is normally 2 turns, but every once in a while they do weird stuff with it. But yeah, now it's 3 turns, and then you get the niche. But the attack up is the same amount. So I mean, at least that's something. You know, that sometimes that 1 turn will make the difference, right? Like sometimes that's the turn where, oh man, you know, you might have like you use the skill, right? Maybe you NP with him, and the next turn you got 1 more duration of the attack up, but then it's like, oh, I didn't get any Lobo cards. And the next hand you do get Lobo cards, but now the attack buff is gone. But now because it lasts that extra turn, it covers that. So that's nice, you know, that's nice, but that's pretty minor, right? Like that's not a big... It's not like, oh man, Lobo is so much stronger now, right? That's definitely not one of those. And you know, Siegfried just got that buff, right? That increased his value dramatically, no matter what the circumstances, right? Like, Siegfried is now stronger no matter what you're doing, where, did we just low roll? Okay, we killed it anyway. I'm gonna say if we fail to kill that one... Okay, we just got crit. That's not ideal. Now, I could keep this one alive for, like, when I have my NP, but I swear to God, like, statistically speaking here, I should not have a problem killing this guy. I could NP right now. That's probably fine. Okay, we have 80 and 70. Like, work with me. There we go. Although, because I'm not doing BBB, I actually have to crit again. Well, actually, maybe I don't, because we're getting the attack buff here. I probably should have just BBB'd on that turn, though. That was kind of needlessly greedy. Okay. Well, we crit. So, literally, same as last time, we just got more NP, so we NP'd sooner. And then we actually crit, where last time we didn't crit at all. Yeah, you definitely kill the bee, though, because it can crit more, and generally casters have less actions per turn. Like, I'm not playing this any differently than last time, and we're winning now. It's ridiculous. I would be very pissed off if they gender bent Henry V. When have I ever been happy about a gender bend? The only gender bend that I can think of two gender bends that I don't mind. I wouldn't say I like them, but I don't mind them because they actually put effort into it. And that's like Artoria, because they actually made it matter. It affects her character a lot, like where her life experience is very different because she's a woman. And then they still made Arthur. That's the key part. She's not even Arthur, but oh, I'm actually a woman. The whole thing in Artoria's life is there is no Arthur, right? Arthur does not exist in her timeline, and she is someone named Artoria who pretends to be Arthur, right? And then they just made another universe, right, where they just did regular King Arthur. So that's fine, right? That doesn't bother me. And I don't mind Mordred too much because if you're going to do, you know, make Artoria, it's kind of fine to change Mordred due to like the way they're connected. So like that's not that big of a deal. But other than that, I don't really ever like gender bends. It's kind of stupid. Like, it's not like I have a problem with women, but like, if you're gonna make a female character, make a female character. Don't take a male and like, oh, let's just randomly change history because fuck it. Especially when there's a bunch of, there are so many like historical figures and legends of women that they just ignore. They just don't use them, right? Like Francis Drake, right? The gender bend Francis Drake, but there's actually a bunch of female pirates, right? So what? Like, why? Like, what the fuck is the point, right? It just bothers me when they do it. They like do it because it's like, first off, the editor at Type Moon just likes doing it. That I'm not gonna lie, that is the main reason it happens. It's just a him thing. So. But it's like, it makes buzz, right? They'd rather take, like, something that's really famous, like Napoleon, and be like, oh, but what if it was a woman, right? Instead of doing, like, Lagartha or something like that. But it also really sucks, too, because you have, like, big names like Cleopatra that they barely use. You know, Cleopatra's a huge name in history, and they barely did anything with Cleopatra, right? So that annoys me. So yeah, if you want to add female characters to the game, pick actual women, for God's sakes. Or to make an OC, right? Like Kiara's an OC, right? BB, you know, and you also have like deities, right? There's lots of goddess deities like Ishtar and all that, so they can pull from. So there's really no excuse. There's no excuse to be gender bending. You know, there's a couple of times where they'll do like Hokusai, for example, wouldn't bother me if they added regular Hokusai. Right? If you're like, oh, it's actually his daughter. That's fine. They just add, if you want to add Hokusai's daughter, that's fine. Just do that. That's no big deal, right? If you want to like expand on and take minor characters and make them a bigger thing, or do some what ifs with like, what if they had kids or whatever, that's fine. I don't really care. If you want to get more female characters in that way, that's all right. But yeah, I don't see any. Why add Henry V as a woman? Why do that? Again, especially instead of adding something like Lagartha or having used like Cleopatra in a better way, right? Why, right? Like why take Henry V and make it a woman randomly instead of just making an actual female character? It's just silly. It's just there's no reason to do that, and it's honestly like, in my opinion, disgraceful to an extent, right? It's like you know, I'm not like that uptight about it. It's not that big of a deal, but you know, if someone in history was X, we'll make it X, right? It's not. There's no reason to change that. It's cheap, right? I think it's cheap to do what they did with, you know, Van Gogh and whatnot. Like especially like Nero is a good example of what I'm talking about. It's just cheap, right? It's just cheap. Like or hate Nero in real life, right? In real history. you know, it's stupid to do that to Nero, and unlike Artoria where they put effort into it, and it matters that Artoria is a woman, and it's not Arthur. They're not taking Arthur but giving it tits. They're like, oh, Arthur doesn't exist, and we're making a new character named Artoria, but hey, we're gonna make Arthur anyway, right? That's way better, right? Opposed to like, it's Nero, but oh, history got it wrong. It was actually a woman, right? It's stupid, right? That's lazy, it's stupid, it has no bearing on like Nero's character, right? It has nothing to do with like anything, right? It's just like fan fiction essentially. Because like another thing is like, if you have no interest in history and legend and mythology, why did you make Fate? Right? Why did you make a story where the premise is legend and history and mythology? Right? Like, so you don't get that as an excuse, right? It's like, if that's the subject matter you picked, that's on you, right? If you want to just make, you know, random bullshit and put waifus everywhere, don't pick world history as your basis. But yeah, Henry V is awesome. I'd love to see him in FGO. If they make him a waifu, I'm gonna be pissed because there's little. Even if the character's good, right? Even if you make essentially at that point an OC, you know, like Queen, you know, Conqueror or whatever, that's fine. But why the fuck did you make it Henry V? Right? Like, why? Right? It's just silly. I would much prefer you at least, you know, of course it's going to be anime. It's not like Henry V needs to be, you know, copy pasted from, you know, the annals of history into FGO. Of course, you know, you can anime it up and, you know, have some fun with it. But if you're not going to base it on Henry V at all, why name it Henry V? Right? If you're just gonna make an OC, make an OC, right? Like, imagine if Kiara, like, look at everything Kiara is with her personality, backstory, abilities, what she does in CCC and everything, right? Imagine if Kiara is just named Genghis Khan. She's just Genghis Khan, but she acts that way, behaves that way, and has those abilities and everything. But for some reason, she's representing Genghis Khan. Why? What is that? Like, what the fuck does that accomplish? Right? Like, what does that do? Right? Like, it's just better to make Kiara, right? There's literally no reason. But that's what Fate does. That's what Fate does. Not all the time, obviously, but sometimes that's what they do. They essentially just make an OC and they slap, you know, someone else's name on it just because. You know, I just think that's ridiculous. Now, they don't do that as often as I think the fan base makes them out to. The fan base sometimes acts like, because what I'll see is they'll do something like Van Gogh, so people will be really annoyed with that, and like, oh man, I really like Van Gogh, it sucks that they did this, because this is essentially not Van Gogh at all. And then people defend it with like, oh, Fate's always doing this, but they're really not, right? They're really not always doing this. There are a lot of instances where they actually take something, do some goddamn research, but then anime it up, and that's fine, right? I'd actually say that that's the majority. I'm not sure it's the majority anymore. It's probably getting kind of 50-50, but it was definitely the majority for most of Fate's time in the past. And I still feel like they probably do a good job more than not. I don't know. I had to think about that. I have to kind of look at some of our recent characters. I think they do a better job more times than not, but they certainly fuck it up quite a bit, and it does feel like I cannot be the only one that feels like it's Russian roulette when they add like your favorite character, right? If you've got, because most people, you know, have a legend or a historical figure that they like a lot and they'd like to see it in Fate, right? And then I cannot be the only one that feels like when that thing gets added, it's like Russian roulette if it's actually going to be done any justice or not. I definitely feel that way though. It's like maybe they'll give a shit and maybe they won't, because it's kind of all over the place. I'm scared about them adding stuff I like. I am the same way. I am always worried that maybe they do add the Green Knight, but then he's a fucking robot or a lolly for some reason. Now, I feel a little safe with the Green Knight. Now, this has never stopped them in the past, because sometimes they'll establish things and then they throw it all out the window. Like Vortigern. They established, you know, Vortigern's character, he has a voice actor, and technically that's all still canon, but then they just make up an excuse to have like this alternate version of Vortigern that we've never heard of, and then it's just like Lost Belt 6 specific, but then of course that's the one that's summonable by us, and it's just bullshit, right? So Vortigern had established lore that is still canon, but that's not what we got, right? That's literally, we got nothing resembling that in FGO. And so Green Knight, they have talked about several times, and they've established that it's a guy, well, presumably, right, like, Japanese language is different than English, so it's not 100% sure that he's a guy, but he's most likely a guy, and he's been described as like monstrous and whatnot. and that would lend itself to like some of the older stories of the Green Knight, and would generally mean he's not a lolly. But you know, you never know. It could be like a little lolly with like fangs, and they're all playing it up, but like a joke. So you know, Green Knight's not saved, and all again could always be like Vortigern. But I would say more likely than not, if Green Knight got added, he would be first off a low star, and low stars they are normally more of straight shooters with, right? Like Qin Gong, you know, Izo even to an extent, right? Like low stars, they're normally more of a straight shooter with. It's obviously not universal, but I think Green Knight would probably be a low star, a 4-star tops. And because what they've already said about him, I feel like he would probably not be stupid. But again, Vortigern proves anything can happen. Henry V, I honestly have no idea. I feel like if they added Henry V, he would probably make it more based on the Shakespeare play, which I would be very annoyed with. So that's a thing. I would fear that more than him being like gender bent or something like that, or just being like really wacky and stupid, right? I think it'd just be more likely that they make it based on the Shakespeare play. So. What to use? I wonder if the story support Lobo has the buff. He does, and I bet you the Izo does too. Yep, you can see but he's MP3. That's hilarious. Oh, how cute game. They give Izo all of his skills. They give him a CE, but they make him 888 and MP3, right? And the difference between MP3 and 5 is pretty much going to offset the upgraded damage he got from his buff. So it's still useless. Why do they always scuff story supports? Why do they always find a way? Like why? What's wrong with like adding units of story supports that are 10 10 10, you know, have faux stats or like their natural level cap? Like, give their CE stats on it, because I bet you these CEs have, let's find out, let's see, I bet you these CEs have 0 stats, they're probably blank. Yeah, they're blank, they don't even have stats on them. Like, what the, like, why? This technically isn't even a 3-star CE, it just happens to be exactly like the one we have, but it has no, you know, details, right? Because, like, if on our units, let's see, do I have it yet on this account? Let me see. Yeah, I have it, okay, like, if I look at it on one of my units, it's look, now it's a 3-star. All of a sudden it's a 3-star and it has stats on it. Like, oh wow, how did that happen? Because yeah, technically the game doesn't register this is the same thing, and it has no rarity. I guess you can't look at the description though, but I think that might be just because it's a support unit, maybe. Let me see. Let me look at a regular support here. Yeah, you're just not allowed to look at the... Why? Why would... That's a really weird detail. And another weird thing I've always found is if you look at their units, you can't see like their bond, and you can't see their like buff icons and stuff. It's like, I don't get the purpose of that. Because it'd be cool to see like if someone's gotten to bond 15 or whatever. There's literally no way to know if someone's bond 15 because of that. It's a spoiler, yeah, apparently. Okay, I'm taking way too long here. We gotta get through these stupid stages so we can actually test out Izo and whatnot. Let's use a random Lancer here. At 868 though. There we go. Perfect. Hopefully oh great, my teams aren't named on this account. But hopefully he can actually beat this stage. I mean, that's a powerful Benkei relative to other Benkeis. How would it be a spoiler for new players? And in what world would anything we just talked about be a spoiler for new players? Like, first off, the descriptions on craft essences aren't spoilers to begin with. Second off, if you have them, you can read them right away, because like, you can get a craft essence that was added later in the game, day 1. So if it was a spoiler, you would have to obfuscate that. And seeing someone's bond is not a spoiler. And like seeing that they have buffs available is not a spoiler because you can see that anyway. If you go to the profile of a character at level 1, you can see that they have available buffs later. Like you already, so there's nothing in what we just talked about can possibly be a spoiler in any way. Yeah, Yang CE, Benkei, let's go. Okay, look at that fucking monkey though, 46k HP, I'm absolutely petrified. Actually on Benkei, I probably should be a little bit concerned. We got our burn right away, very nice. With that bonus damage. Okay, we can kill, no big deal. Actually, we will be greedy here and make some extra NP. Obviously, we couldn't kill the monkey because only King Hassan can do that. I'm not even kidding. As far as I know, King Hassan is the only unit in the game that can actually kill the monkeys. Okay, we counterclass this one, but it's gonna get its NP faster. Even if I seal it, I don't think I could prevent it from getting its NP, so I'll save my other abilities. Quick to maybe crit next turn, or take the higher damage now. We'll do quick. We'll give higher crit chances this turn, and then next turn we'll probably do Art. Actually, probably not, because... Can I get my NP off of doing quick? Because what I could do is I could NP seal, or well, hopefully NP seal, because, you know, Benkei, with his barely any effects, has to have RNG. Although he's 10-10-10. This is NP... No, of course not. His NP seal is not 100% at level 10. Of course not. Like, of course not. Dude, I saw someone unironically saying I shouldn't have expected Benkei's skills to land because his skills weren't max. Like that's even the point of, like, the video that I made. Like, that is so missing the point. Like, imagine having only one effect on your skill, that one effect is bad, and that effect is RNG. Like imagine that, right? Like, imagine you click Ku's PFA and it says miss. Right? Like, imagine that. And you could say, well, Fionn is like that until he's rank 10, but Fionn at least comes with taunt, so you at least get the taunt no matter what. Right? So the skill does something no matter what. Benkei has two effects that are, all it does is one thing, and that one thing is weak as fuck, and it's RNG. It doesn't matter if he's rank 1 or rank 10, because first off, at rank 10 it can still miss, and then, you know, even if it doesn't miss, it's a bad effect! Like, that's all it does! Right? Like, that's shit! Like, there's no way around it. Benkei is bad, right? Benkei is a really bad unit and needs, you know, new things on his skills to justify how bad they are. Okay, chat, we're gonna be on some copium here, though. We're gonna NP seal it. We're just gonna land the 80%. Then I'm gonna get my NP here, and then I'm gonna stun this thing so it can't NP me next turn. Or I'm gonna kill it next turn. Okay, got it. That's right, it's AoE, which is probably why they think it's justified in it being RNG, which it's not, by the way. But, let's see. I could skill seal to stop it from potentially doing defense up. So I could be more likely to one-shot it. Yeah, we'll do that. We can take a hit. We'll do the quick cards again. And I think we'll go for the one-shot and not do the NP. Of course you crit me. Of course you crit me. Skill Seal's so great, by the way. Okay, can we one-shot? We'll do 40-50 for best chances. Oh yeah, no problem. I see the crit there. Oh my god, Benkei, no! Okay, I was actually worried. After that first hit, I thought we were good, and the follow-up hit was so weak, I grew concerned. Okay, Benkei, let's get those numbers. Let's art. Why does Benkei have a top hat command code? It's awfully specific. The main reason Eggman/Robotnik is not in Smash is because they don't want to pay the money to have more characters from Sega. It's not like they figure they've gotten their value out of Sonic fans, and they're actually probably right about this. they have gotten enough out of Sonic fans through what do you do, like a Knuckles assist trophy and Sonic, right? Like that gets them, like any players that they would get, that gets them like from Sonic, that gets them like 90% of them. Like just having like Sonic and it's himself in the game, that gets them the majority of Sonic fans that would play Smash, right? Now some Sonic fans will never play Smash no matter what character you add, right? But then some would play if they added, you know, Shadow or whatever, or Robotnik, that wouldn't play otherwise, but it's a pretty small percentage of people, and so it's not worth the money, right? The money that they'd have to give to Sega to add Robotnik to the game is just not worth it. You know, welcome to business, by the way, but that's how that shit goes a lot. But yeah, who knows? Maybe someday they'd add, because if they ever added someone, Robotnik, or it'd be Robotnik or Shadow, I think, if they ever added another Sonic character. Maybe Tails. Yeah, it'd probably be Shadow or Robotnik. Because Robotnik's like the antagonist, and Shadow is popular amongst teenage girls apparently. Or Toria for Smash. If anything from Fate ever got in, it would be that. It'd be that, or Emiya, or maybe Gilgamesh, but it'd probably be Artoria. I am almost dead. Oh, fantastic. Okay, well we can do this. 69k in one turn. 60% crit. I could do the attack up, but I think I need to save it. Okay, are we about to lose this stage with a level 100 Benkei with the Yang CE? Yeah, I think we are. If we had killed there, I'd be feeling more confident. Also, if I had my NP, I'd be feeling more confident. How unfortunate. What do I do here? Make NP and stars. I don't think Nintendo would care at all about adding Artoria to Smash because the original visual novel had sex scenes in it. Have you looked at the crap that is in Smash right now? Right, like first off, Fates Unite's pretty distant from the original visual novel at this point, because like they're not really distant from the original visual novel in like they've re-released it a bunch, like on Vita and all that, but they always remove the sex scenes. Right, the version of Fates Unite that had sex scenes in it is so far removed now that it doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, fucking Bayonetta's in the game. Like, they don't give a crap, right? They don't give a crap about that at all, right? It's like, if they add, like, I don't know, Dante to the game, they don't care about all the blood and gore in DMC, right? They're just not gonna put that blood and gore in Smash. Right? And, equally, they're not gonna put fucking, Rin's ass in fucking Smash Brothers, right? Like, they'll add Doom Guy, for God's sakes, but look at the crap that's in Doom, right? And they even added, like, don't they have a Doom Guy, what is it, a Mii fighter, right? And, Doom, look at the history of Doom, like, holy shit. So, yeah, they don't care about that. Like, they do not care about that at all. But that doesn't mean they're going to add Artoria in the next Smash game. I'm not saying that either, but if they don't add her, I don't think that's the reason at all. Okay, got stunned. Very nice. Got rid of his attack buffs. Kept the defense down. It's handy. That was actually pretty good. Doesn't matter, we're gonna die anyway, at least the heal comes back. What would really help us is if we had the heal command code. We would have healed like 4 times by now, so I'd have a bunch of health. That could really make the difference here. But yeah, I think we're fucked, we still have enough HP. How popular is Smash these days? I know it's still pretty big, but the market is like, it's hard for video games to be as big as they were back in the day because the competition is so much more fierce. So like, for example, like World of Warcraft when it came out was literally the MMO, right? Everyone that was interested in MMOs played WoW at some point. You don't get that in game genres anymore unless a new genre comes out, which does happen occasionally. But there's so many fighting games, so many platformer games, There's so many shooter games, there's so many third-person action games, right? You never have that universal game like you used to have back in the day. But yeah, I know Smash is still huge, and you still have huge games, right? Like, you know, even Genshin Impact, right? It's really big and all that. Like, lots of games still come out and are like blockbusters. But I'm telling you, you do not have video games like you used to, where everyone played it essentially, right? Like, the market is just too big. Like, I think everyone's experienced this in their life, where like you'll watch a YouTube video that came out 4 years ago and it's got like 30 million views and you never heard of it. You had no idea, right? And it came out years ago, right? And because it has all those views, it was obviously a big deal in its corner. That happens all the time now with video games. You have some big video game that comes out that sold millions of copies and people in that niche really liked it, but then a lot of other people never even heard of the damn thing because there's just so many big video games now. Like the market has changed so much from like, you know, back in the day. Yeah, there's so many games, so many movies, there's so many TV shows. But yeah, Smash is always going to be big, right? As are a lot of other IPs, right? You know, DMC is still big and is always going to have a following, I would say, unless they fuck it up. You know, Street Fighter is probably always going to have a following unless they keep fucking that up, because I know they kind of screwed that one over a bit. But, you know, a lot of these IPs, they still are going to have a following and, you know, have people that care about them, you know, and like the fighting game community is always going to, you know, notice every fighting game, really, even if they don't, like, catch on big time. But yeah, it's hard for games to have, like, the kind of success where, like, every gamer knows about it, right? That just doesn't really happen anymore. Like, even Smash does not have the same kind of, like, cultural relevance in like the gaming sphere like it used to, because there used to be less gamers and basically every gamer would have played Smash back in the day. That's absolutely not the case anymore. That is so not the case anymore. And like big time for MMOs, right? You're never going to have an MMO that grabs every MMO player. That's not going to happen. Like Smash isn't even going to grab every person that's interested in that kind of game anymore, right? It's not a thing. I don't know anything about Street Fighter 6, to be honest. I was so put off by Street Fighter 5 that I just completely stopped following. I know nothing about Street Fighter 6. I don't know what characters are in it. I don't know if they changed the game engine. I don't know what the graphics look like. I have no idea. I'll have to do that at some point just because you know, Street Fighter used to be such a big name. You know, even before Street Fighter 4, it was such a huge name in the industry. But yeah, they kind of fucked that one up. I don't trust Capcom ever. I don't really trust any game companies, to be honest. Maybe a couple of indies, but even then, I always keep in my mind that it's possible that anybody can turn evil at any time or fuck it up or just be incompetent. Like even FromSoft, you know, makes mistakes and does stupid things. I never trust a company to not fuck something up. We don't really need to do the free quests on stream, but I want to see, I guess, like what difficulty level they gave it, so we can see how the Stheno account does here. We want one of the event CEs, so probably, I guess, fucking Castoria, because she's got the CE that we want. Yikes, although she is really good for farming, there's no way around that. Alright, what does this account have for farming? We got a Raj, okay, that's a nice one. I think we have Spartacus. Yes, we have Spartacus. Nice skill ranks, by the way. Arash is even counterclassing, that's good. Arash can be replaced by basically nothing. Got Achilles, I guess that's okay. What you would want to do, though, is Achilles going to clear wave 3? I think not. You kind of need Achilles to clear wave 2, I would think. What's his NP rank? Oh, NP 3? How did that happen? I remember we got him through Story Summon, and I picked him as my free 5-star. Why is he... did I get him twice from Story Summon? That is statistically very unlikely. Shit, damn. That I get some luck, chat, because I like him, right? There's a lot of 5-stars. Like, sure, getting 5 stars from Story Summon is not any less likely than anything else, but the odds of you getting one that you actually like, let alone twice like that, is ridiculous. You got him twice in one session? Well, how about that, chat? I feel like I deserve that, chat. Chat, I work so hard, chat. I deserve these things, chat. Totally. It's not like I play video games for a living. Totally deserve this kind of luck, chat. And you guys don't though, chat. No, you guys don't. No. Only I deserve these things. I'm so special, chat. Yeah, accomplishment. Yeah, gotta. That's some people actually see it that way. You know, bullshit jokes aside, some people actually feel like accomplished when they're like a whale. Like it's very silly. It's very silly. Okay, let me think about this though. I could do the switch mystic code, although I don't want to because I want to get XP on this. How? I guess you just have a rush NPing on the second wave is just the worst thing, but I guess we're gonna do that. Am I seriously gonna try to clear the third wave? Okay, we have this. NP1 though. Oh boy. Would Achilles do better than her? She's an event servant and she's counterclassing because she's an event servant. If it wasn't Sabers, this would probably not be the case. But do I have to do cope scope? She certainly doesn't have her passive. Yes, she does not have her passive. And you're probably going to use her first skill already. I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll see what happens. I have failed to throw nickels at you for a while. I mean, but have you though? Also, chat, I can't, but why is this event Lost Belt 3 locked? It's not even a serious event from what I've seen, and it is just glorified dailies. So why is something that is glorified dailies like Lost Belt 3 locked? Like what the fuck? Like what is the point of this? Remember when CCC was story locked and it was actually like an in-depth and interesting event with real boss fights? Remember that? Like why do all the events now suck? Or do they? No, they do. No, they really do. But like really, when was the last time they added an event that was awesome? Like can someone name me the last good event, at least from a gameplay perspective, right? Like name me the last event that was like, oh, that was fun. Tesla Fest. Okay, that's fair. That wasn't super long ago, but the Tesla Fest though was also not new. They were repurposing old content. Now that was cool because they repurposed old content in a fresh way, and I appreciate that. Right? Like with them doing like the gauntlet thing, right? But everything at Tesla Fest was actually really old. There was no new content there other than I think the free quests, but that's nothing, right? So, okay, but I agree, Tesla Fest was good. Okay, so I agree with that. But again, old content, essentially a rerun, right? A rerun, a rerun, if you will. But so other than that, right? What was new? What was a new event that was added? That was good. I mean, we've had Nier music on this playlist the entire time. This is nothing new. We've always had Nier music. Gouda Final? That was a long time ago. The Veach event was okay, but I wouldn't even say that was that good. But that was okay, and it was not glorified dailies, although I guess it kind of was. You kind of had the raid of the day, but you could also miss it. I mean, that's the thing, the Veach event kind of sucked though, because if you didn't stay up to like 6 a.m., you didn't get to do anything. To have fun, you had to stay up to like fucking 6 a.m. every night. At least in my time zone, right? For other people, it might have been 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., but like, that was pretty terrible, actually. What was Halloween 2021? That was the collage event. Now that had good rewards. I don't remember that being a good event though. Well, I don't remember anything special in that event. I remember it just being really awful, actually. It was like a bunch of story nodes where you were fighting enemies with like 30k HP. That was absolutely oh, the Zenobia one. Okay, I'm not thinking of the right one. I'm thinking of what was the Zenobia one? I remember the challenge quest, and I did like the challenge quest. There were a bunch of small fights. That sounds good, but I don't remember them. Give me more information. What else was it? The Jacques de Molay one? I don't remember that. I don't remember that event very well. Like, name me some boss fights that happened. I literally don't remember. All I remember is the challenge quest. It just does not bode well, because if I don't remember it, they could not have been that good. Green is getting senile? I don't think so, because like I remember all the good final fights. I remember anytime there's like events that really do have good fights, I generally remember them. The Virtua event sucked in terms of gameplay. Now it was great in terms of everything else. You know, Karna was so well received, and you know there was animation update for George. That was all great, but it was just glorified dailies. Big Demon Goat. Okay, I remember that. That was okay. That was an okay fight. That was. Okay, I kind of remember the event now. If that's, is that really the same event? Was the big? I don't think that's the same event. I don't think the Demon Goat and Zenobia. I don't think the Zenobia event was very good. I cannot recall anything actually fun in that other than the challenge quest. And that's not great. And I don't think I even made a video. Like if I don't make a video, that means whatever like the medium boss fights are so easy that they're not worth anything. So I'm not seeing good things here. But like, and y'all apparently can't even name me anything that happened in the goddamn Halloween event. So clearly it's not that great. But yeah, I can't think of an event in like the last 6 months that was actually good. This is from Vampire Survivors. I mean, the stuff you named, no one even remembers. I literally don't remember anything you brought up. I don't even fucking remember. I don't think anyone else does. And you're literally the only person that's hyping the event. So that's kind of my point where I don't think it was that great. I mean, it was probably better than this, right? Because this has literally no content and then just, you know, daily stages and no map, etc., etc. But, like if I didn't even make a video, there's no way any of the fights are that good. Galatea Tower event was pretty good, but that was a really long time ago. And only like the end of it was good, right? Like I think the beginning of it was pretty bad, but the last half of it and the bonus floors were pretty good. That's true. A lot of people haven't done it because it's NA. That is fair. That is fair. But still, as far as I'm aware, I didn't even make a video for it. And not to be egotistical, but if I didn't make a video, there clearly weren't any fights that were that good. Like, clearly. Because if there is a halfway decent fight, I will always make a video for it because we're like fucking content starved over here. What does this count need bond-wise? I guess Stheno and George will bring the 1 CE we have. But I will say, at least the Galatea event, or not Galatea, the Zenobia event did have a good challenge quest. Like, I do remember the challenge quest vividly. But, I mean, good challenge quests are, you know, that's not what makes the event, right? That's at the very end of the event, and every event has a challenge quest. Now, they don't always have good challenge quests, but every event does have a challenge quest, so it's not much of a standard. Yeah, Galatea was pretty good. Like, Jesus. I can't think of much else. I mean, Tesla Fest was good, but, you know, that again, that was like rerun. That's the thing, though. The events that I would say stand out to me as, like, you know, being more than just fucking dailies. You know, CCC. Now, CCC has a lot of aspects to it that I didn't like, because there was a lot of farming, but at least they mixed the farming up each day. And they did have real boss fights every day. Sometimes they'd add more than one boss fight every day. And that, I mean, real boss fights, and that was very nice. There's Good of Final, obviously. That one's excellent. That one's excellent. It had lots of boss fights, lots of content, varying in difficulty all over the place. And you had like the optional difficulty with the story support, so no story support. So Good of Final is like the gold standard to me. Labyrinth event fucking sucks. That had like only had boss fights at the end. Like that's like the typical thing that they do, is there's like garbage content every day, and then there's like good boss, like the final main story fight's good and the challenge quest is good. And I will say the Labyrinth event has an abnormally good final main story boss, right? It has an abnormally good one, and it has an abnormally good challenge quest. So it's still better, I guess, in some but overall it's still garbage, right? It's still linear trash, and you're just fighting garbage that's not hard or engaging or interesting. Imaginary Scramble is like on the edge. They were trying. Imaginary Scramble is like trying to be like Good of Final. It really is, but it's just worse at everything. It ultimately only had like 3 or 4 good boss fights in the whole thing. Most of the boss fights were like, you either do the gimmick with the story support or you're not doing it at all. And then if you do the story support gimmick, it's so easy, it's boring, right? You know what? Saber Wars 2 actually is pretty good. I hate to say that, but I agree. That is a far above standard event. There is a lot more effort put into like the content there than like what we're seeing in this event. So fair enough. I don't like it thematically, right? Thematically, I dislike it greatly. And then the challenge quest kind of missed the bar, I would say, pretty hard. But the typical content is definitely better there. But again, the challenge quest is actually worse than normal, and then thematically, I really disliked it, but that's subjective. That's subjective stuff. Let's see, what else is good? Most of the tower events are good. The only tower event I did not really like was the 10th one. That one just sucked. That one was so boring. It was floor after floor of nothing. It didn't have the tricky bonus floors like the Galatea one. The final, like, 50 floors were not as hard as the Galatea one. That one was not good. Really, the 10th one sucked. I hate to say that because 10th is cool, but that one sucked. Setsubun was pretty good. Not perfect, but it was pretty good. And the Galatea one is probably the best one. It started off as the worst of all of them, I would say. The first, like, 50 floors of the Galatea one are probably the worst ever. But once it gets rolling, it's a lot better. I would say this, if I've learned anything from Setsubun, Amazonas event, and then the Galatea one, it's that they need to change the format of those tower events. They need to cut out, it needs to be less floors, but more meaningful floors. Now, it can still be a large number of floors, right? But, because like Galatea's event actually had way more floors than normal because of like the bonus floors and everything. Because you had like the 200 floors and then like you had a bonus 10 floors or 20 floors or whatever. I think it was 20 floors. So you had a lot of fucking floors there. And those bonus floors were all really good. And then all the boss waves from like floor, I don't know, 80 and on were all good. Then it's okay to have some filler floors, but not that many. So instead of it being 220 floors, it should be like 120 floors. And then those 100 floors need to be way more meaningful, right? Let's see though, what are some other good events? Throw some stuff at. Case Files is pretty good. Not as good, in my opinion, as Good of Final, because it has a lot of boss fights, but almost all of them are too easy. Not a lot of meaningful ones, but there's a few. And I will give Case Files this. Though it has probably the smoothest farming they've ever done for that kind of event, right? That was like the best grind I've ever seen in FGO, and I don't like grinding, right? Like, it just was not a hassle, right? Like CCC, they got you to change what you were doing regularly, but the total amount of farming was way lower than what you needed to do in CCC, and it was way clearer, right? So I'll give Case Files. I would love to see them combine like Case Files with like Good of Final. That would be a very good event format, in my opinion, in terms of like pacing. Go West sucks. It's one of the worst ones we've ever done, I would say. I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff here, though. I'm definitely forgetting some stuff. We've had some other events where they've had... You know, okay, Summer 3 had... Okay, Summer 3 has like the worst farming ever. Now, you NA fucks never actually got to do the real Summer 3. I still think, though, the version NA got was bad. I did the NA one, and it was still too grindy. It was not as grindy as the original, but it was still grindy. I think Summer 3 is way too grindy, and it was just glorified dailies for like most of the event. But it has more than just a good final main story boss and then the challenge quest. It has more than that, right? It had a couple of good main story bosses. It had the raids, which were very unique. And so that was fun. I'll give it, I don't like Summer 3 as a whole because the farming was so bad, but the raids into the main story fights, into the challenge quest was actually really nice, right? Like legitimately, that was really nice, but the farming was atrocious, especially the original Japanese version. That was atrocious. Fate Zero was cool because it had a lot of boss fights, but it's also really old content, so like those boss fights are like a joke in context now. But for the time, that was cool. So yeah, actually Fate Zero, fair enough. I would say Fate Zero was a higher effort event that was more than glorified dailies. But there's not a lot. I'm sure I'm overlooking some, but man, there are less good events than I would like, to be honest. It's a lot of dailies. It's a lot of like do a main story node every day that's so easy it's pointless, and then you do a new farming stage. That's most events, especially recently. I feel like they've been doing that more and more now. Very few mission events are good, I would agree with, but every once in a while, like Case Files, I think they do it in a way that is pretty good, right? It's not, I don't think it's always terrible. It can be pretty bad though, because it can be so grindy. All the Mabinogi music is always so loud. I need to fix that. Yeah, Summer 4 sucks. Like, Gouda 6 sucks. The one that came after Gouda Final, that one was pretty bad. And then, like, okay, APOC. The APOC event is so close to being amazing, but it's trash because it's too easy. Like, the raids are just not interesting enough, right? Obviously, they added, like, lots of daily content. You got things to do beyond just glorified dailies. But it was all so easy, it was really difficult to actually have any fun with it. And the AP costs are way too high. So if you want to like dick around with the raids and be like, let's try to one-shot it with this setup, and then one-shot it with this setup, then solo it, then do it at neutral, right? Your AP is suffering, so yeah, that kind of sucks. But APOC at least more effort than normal. The collab events used to always have more effort put into them, but the last couple have not. Like, Idol event is glorified dailies. And, chat, I literally forgot what the last collab event was because it was not a collab event. I know it was them collabing with themselves. I literally don't even remember what it was. And it was just glorified dailies. You were just doing fucking dailies. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, right, it was the Bunyan. Yeah, that literally not a collab. No wonder I forgot. I remembered that event because it was so recent, but I forgot it was even supposed to be a collab. But, yeah, that event sucked. It had a map, but it was still just glorified dailies. But it actually had a map, but it didn't have any actual content. Alright, let's see, how the cat does here. I have a feeling not so well. We actually need an art or a buster, right? Anything but quick would be better. Because we have no damage up. They're never going to do a Fate Stay Night collab because that's too memey, and then also everything from Fate Stay Night's already in, so I don't think that's ever going to happen. Wow. I know she's NP1, and her damage up skill is rank 1, so minimum damage here, but big yikes. But we had Mystico did no damage, her support gave no damage up. So really, it was just NP1, 111 Atalante with a very minor event bonus. Go kill it right here, though. Yeah, really, Fuyuki Singularity is kind of the Fate Stay Night collab. That's actually true. I would think Tsukihime would be next year. Like, if they wait too long, it's just gonna, like... You're gonna miss the hype, right? You're gonna miss the part where people actually care, so... Chat, though, there must be some other events that they put some effort into. Alright, let me do one more of these, and then we'll get to testing, like, Ezo, and... I mean, this event sucks. This is exactly what I was afraid of. I mean, look at this. I mean, look at this! You do, like, 1 or 2 story nodes every day on this menu, and they're super easy, right? They're, like, crazy fucking easy. And then it unlocks 1 new free quest, and then you just grind that free quest instead, right? Like, that is the worst format I have ever seen in a goddamn game. That's horrible, right? Like, I know some other mobile games that were, like, old also are trash like that, but, like, none of the mobile games now do that. I mean, look at... Arknight's format is so much better than FGO's. And here's the thing, every once in a while FGO does an event that is really, really good. Like, they do, you know, they do things like Gouda Final and stuff like that every once in a while that is, you know, actually really interesting. But, like, it is shocking to me how little effort is put into FGO when it generates so much money. It is weird. And I hope that changes because they are hiring new people and all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping it's not going to be like this way forever. But it is just shocking to me, like, how little effort. Because even the main story, it's like, you just have farming, like, essentially a free quest, right? You essentially are doing a main story node that's actually a free quest, right? And you're doing that for, like, 90% of it. And it's like, are you kidding me, right? Like, why? It's just... Now, Lost Bolt 5.2 wasn't like that. That was very, very high effort. That's some of the highest effort they put into the actual nodes, right? The actual gameplay side of it. Imaginary Scramble is not that great. Like, the gameplay gimmick is meaningless. It's completely linear. They're trying to make you act like you have a choice, but you don't. You just, in a linear fashion, clear every board, right? There's no choice. You basically, it's a point ladder. They're just hiding it from you, right? Like, the Imaginary Scramble is just a point ladder. You earn shots to, you know, open up the board, but you're just grinding free quests, so you're just building up a point ladder, right? That's all you're actually doing. And then most of the it has more boss fights, but most of the boss fights are done in a way that you literally cannot beat them unless you bring the story support. And then if you bring the story support, it's a non-issue, and it's so easy that you couldn't lose even if you were just bashing your face into the keyboard. Now, there's a few exceptions. There are a few boss fights scattered throughout it that actually are kind of interesting. Right, there are some boss fights that are good, but it's not that good. Right, it really is not that good. Yeah, ladder and mission events are pretty crap. Like, the thing is, it just shows the problem with FGO right now, in my opinion, right? The events are either awful, like, ladder point stuff that no one wants to do, right? Or it's this. It's do a couple of story stages every day that are super, super easy, and then, you know, a new free quest unlocks, and you just farm that free quest for the day. And then the next day, you know, you do a little bit of main story that's super easy, and then there's another free quest. That's the majority of events. Or it's, you know, a mission or a point ladder that's just awful. And it's because they just lack depth. They lack depth, and I wouldn't say that. They lack the effort to put in the depth. Because they make good stages sometimes, right? When you do have events like Good of Final and things like that, they clearly know how to design interesting content that can be engaging. They know how, right? They know how, but I feel like they don't want to, like, invest into, like, hiring enough people to have the man hours to put in the work to get that content out in time to be ready for the event. I really feel like that's the problem, right? I played this game long enough. I feel like that's the problem, is they don't have the time to make the good events. And so they would rather shovel out 3 garbage events like this, because like the last 3 or 4 events have all been exactly like this, right? Just the same shit, just repackaged, right? So they would rather meet their deadlines and bring out like 3 events in 3 months than to bring out like 2 events in 3 months of higher quality, right? That's how I feel about FGO. Now, maybe they'll fix that with them hiring new people, because they're actively hiring right now. So, you know, maybe it'll change. But I feel like that's been the problem. It's like they're struggling to keep up with their quota of adding new units and adding new main story and just the art assets and everything, that they don't have the time to actually make inspired events. Like, I mean this. If you disagree with me, tell me. But like, especially for someone that plays JP, right? Because obviously NA is 2 years behind. But from JP, I do not feel like FGO has been inspired for like 90% of the content in the last like year, if not more than that. Like, I feel like a lot of the events are literally what we are staring at right now, just over and over again, and that it's just so uninspired, right? It's so uninspired. It's very lazy. And now some of that was kind of obvious with if you followed the game industry, right? There was the whole debacle with, well, COVID for one, but them hiring Baba and then them making that other game which shut down immediately, and they lost a lot of money, and that I truly think is to blame for like the rut that FGO got into, right? Because the employees at DW said that they pulled staff off of FGO and put it on Sakura Wars, right? That does not translate to things running well for FGO, obviously. And I think that failure they never recouped from, and that's why Sony bought them out, and that's why we have Lasagna now. And Lasagna is still in the hole, though. You don't just turn that ship around in 5 minutes, so we're still in the hole from Sakura Wars. I really think that is the main reason FGO is fucked up, is Sakura Wars. I completely think that. Like, but I do think there's some incompetency, right? They should have never made that mistake in the first place. They should have been able to bail themselves out by now. This ship should have been this shit should have been sorted out by now. I really feel that way. It should have been sorted out by now. It's clearly not. I hope it does. I hope we don't just stay this way forever. I don't think we will. I don't think Aniplex would have done what they did if they were planning on keeping the status quo the same forever. That is not a very sensible thing to do, to buy out the development and like take over the game like that if you're not going to change something, right? That just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, Sakura Wars was a bad idea. They literally made a really old-style gacha game that was very uninspired and copy-pasted, and they put an insane amount of money and time and man-hours into it, and it was on an unpopular IP, and it died in 6 months. And going by their financial reports and leakers from the company, they put an ungodly amount of money into that. I mean, they put from what I've seen since then, it basically wrecked the company, right? DW basically died because of Sakura Wars. They put that much money into it, and it was that much of a failure. So, you know, that's a pretty big yikes. What can we do here? We can do... I guess Achilles now is the option. He can go, what's my skill ranks? Not rank 10, so but he has his passive, so I think I can go at 50% starting NP. So that'll give us a bit more damage here. That was another thing working against Atalante. I'm pretty sure DW still exists, but they're a pretty small company now, and it's not really clear what they're going to be doing. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because DW never owned any IP rights to Fate anyway. They were essentially borrowing the IP from DW and Aniplex. They had no ownership over the IP anyway. So yeah, it's really hard to say what the hell they're gonna do. It would not shock me if they just crash and burn. Now, there's obviously some like nepotism, and welcome to game development, by the way. In any business, there's always a degree of nepotism. And Japan has an abnormal amount of nepotism. Like, that's just a known thing. Like, the Japanese business world has a lot of nepotism in it. That's how Pablo got hired in the first place. And I suspect from just what I've seen that there's some nepotism between Sony, DW, and Type Moon, right? Because like DW had like an advisory role on fucking Melty Blood. Like, what the fuck, right? Like, that doesn't even make sense, right? Like, they have no experience. And between like Arc System Works being like the buddy company to French Bread, why the fuck would you get DW to help out with the development of Melty Blood? You know, that just makes no fucking sense. But I kind of expect Type Moon to try to not work with Arc System Works from what I've seen in the past. So, you know, that's definitely a sign of nepotism. So you might see DW in that kind of role, you know, like helping out with other random games that Type Moon is involved in and things like that. But we'll just see. You know, maybe they'll crash and burn. Maybe they'll just, you know, reinvent themselves and like detach themselves from Aniplex and Type Moon entirely and just hire different staff and make different games with nothing to do. Because, you know, they've got like that guy from Street Fighter that works for them now. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's quit. Who knows? But Arc System Works is pretty much the fighting game company these days for Japanese like anime fighting games, and they do some publishing work. They mostly do development work, but they do some publishing work. But they've grown very close with the developer of Melty Blood, because after Melty Blood Actress again, Type Moon kind of dropped French Bread and didn't work with them at all for a very long time, and then French Bread kind of was struggling financially. But Arc System Works like took them under their wing, and like they go to conventions together all the time. And like their staff are seen mingling all the time. And from what I understand, Arc System Works literally shared their in-house game engine with French Bread, which you don't fucking do that just randomly, right? And the Arc System Works was like, they really like coached them and like helped them make, what's that game? Under Night and something, whatever the fuck. But yeah, they're very close with Arc System Works. But there's been a lot of opportunities for Arc System Works to work with Type Moon before, and Type Moon always is like, nah, brah. And so it's just kind of weird that then Type Moon finally works with French Bread again, and they don't work with Arc System Works. Instead, they work with fucking DW. I mean, that reeks of nepotism, right? That not of competency, right? Not at all. Especially considering Arc System Works, you know, track record compared to DW's. Under Night and Birth, yeah, that's the one. But yeah, French Bread, the developer of Melty Blood, is just very tight with Arc System Works, and Arc System Works, like them or hate them, is very knowledgeable when it comes to fighting games and that kind of thing, where DW is not, aside from having that one guy from Street Fighter. But I don't know, maybe that was the reason, who knows. Yet again, our Mystic Code is essentially worthless, but, you know, Rider High Star Absorb, we get the easy crit there. It wouldn't shock me if DW makes a fighting game down the road. That would not, with what I've seen with like with the Melty Blood stuff and everything, I could see it happening. That would make some degree of sense to me. You know, I don't actually like Persona 4 Arena very much. I don't like hate it. It's mostly a case of it not being my cup of tea, not so much it being objectively bad. But it's kind of what I've seen from Arc System Works a lot when they make games for other IPs opposed to making their own games. They try to make it like really simplified and dumbed down Also, fuck you, Medusa, and stunning me. But I'm sorry, petrifying me. Completely different. They want to make sure like Persona fans can play Persona 5 or Persona 4 Arena opposed to fighting game fans. So like Persona 4 is a super dumbed down fighting game that just makes a lot of like gameplay decisions I'm not a huge fan of, so I don't really like it. And same for like BlazBlue Cross Tag, right? Which, you know, it's very the design philosophy for those kind of games that they make is very different from their design philosophy when they make a game like BlazBlue or even Guilty Gear or something like that. And so it's not badly made, right? Persona 4 Arena is a well-made game. The sprites are well done, the, you know, animations are smooth, and, you know, all that, right? It's a perfectly well-made game. It's just, it's not my style. BlazBlue Cross Tag is probably my least favorite game that Arc System Works has ever made. I very much dislike it. That is everything I do not want out of a video game. Well, okay, there's worse, right? There's Diablo Immortal, right? That's worse. So yeah, there are deeper levels of hell, but I do not like cross tag like at all. It is so dumbed down in a way that makes the game obnoxious to play with like the control scheme and everything. Okay, last one of these, and then we'll go check out Ezo's buff and all that. Does anyone in chat have a really good Ezo? Because mine's level 70, like 888, right? So normally I use someone like I'll use Hexes or someone like that. But I don't know if Hex is here right now. But, okay, Ace has got one at 100. I know Hex has a super good one as well. Does she have the bonus CE? Which one is that? Is that the point? No, that's the drop one. Which maybe the stage drop stat, but I don't know yet. Until I actually know what the drops are, I pretty much always want to summon the point boost. Achilles is probably our best option again, so... We could test out an 81 as well if we want to try out a more like normal one. It kind of depends on what we're comparing to. But we need to find an enemy that's man, otherwise his performance is going to barely be any better than what it was. Like, yeah, his NP does a little bit more damage, but he only NPs so often, so it's not like that's going to have a huge impact on his performance. So we need something that's man to really get that power increase. And then we need to try... Lobo is barely worth trying, in my opinion. He is so not different, but we might try him anyway. Well, BlazBlue is a real fighting game. And honestly, it's funny, when BlazBlue came out, a lot of people saw it as like a real fighting game, but it's... you know, not as hardcore as some of the, like the older games. But now BlazBlue is like so hardcore in comparison to what fighting games are now. Now that's not entirely wrong. Some of the changes with fighting games in the modern era is actually a good thing in my opinion. Because some of the like barriers to entry in fighting games are arbitrary as fuck and are meaningless. Right? Like some of the like one frame links in a lot of fighting games, for those who don't know, it basically means where to a high vault you have like a combo to do move 1 in the combo and move 2 in the combo. You have to time a button input where you only have 1 frame to actually put the input in the right spot, and that's just dumb, right? And there a lot of games in the past had like combo inputs that were so difficult. And yes, I would take a cookie if I could, well, but unfortunately that we have a virtual issue here. But you know, who doesn't like cookies, right? Like what kind of heathen doesn't like cookies? And thank you for the sub, Bull. I appreciate it. But anyway, a lot of fighting games would have very convoluted combos where you'd have to like do a certain move, wait an arbitrary amount of time, and then have a 1 frame input to put in the correct input after waiting, right? You don't just do it as fast as possible. And then you have another combo, you have to do it as fast as humanly possible. Like the barrier to entry to learn how to play the characters was ridiculous. I can mail them to you. Anyway, so yeah, the barrier to entry to just play the characters competently would require you to practice for like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I mean, it's stupid, right? I mean, it's stupid. And that's not skill. That is not skill. Skill is like knowing when to be aggressive, when to be defensive, when to do this combo, when to do that combo, when to mix up, when to block, when to barrier instead, when to burst. Yeah, that's the skillful part of fighting games, right? Now, there is a slight degree of execution that is important in a fighting game because you need a degree of execution excellence to prevent people from button mashing, right? and to like hit confirm. And hit confirming is when you like throw out a move and you can realize, oh, he's blocking the move, so now I need to go into a combo that's like safe on block, opposed to just brainlessly mashing my damage combo that is unsafe, and then he could hit me in the face really easily, right? So that's what hit confirming is, right, essentially. And that's important, right? Knowing when you threw out a move and it landed versus got blocked, and then you transition into the appropriate combo, right? So there's a degree of execution that is important in fighting games, but a lot, and I mean a lot of input execution in fighting games is arbitrary as fuck. And it's not skill in any way, right? It is just practice, 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 practice. It's a huge barrier to entry to then even learn the actual game of like, when should I do a poke? When should I do a low? When should I do a high? When should I delay? When should I swing? When should I keep jabbing? When should I back off? When should I barrier? When should I block? When should I, like, you have to do this insane gauntlet of training to even start learning the real game. And that's bullshit. Right, I think that's absolute bullshit. And fighting games now are getting better about that, but they're also messing up where they're losing, because they're simplifying things, they're losing a lot of the other depth we were just talking about. Right, what are your favorite fighting games? Probably BlazBlue. Like Central Fiction and the whatever came before that. Gameplay-wise, I like those games a lot. There's been some other fighting games that I've really liked. I like fighting games. They're not my favorite genre, but I like them a lot. But I have found as I've gotten older, and now I spend a lot of my time, you know, editing YouTube videos and streaming and whatnot, it's very difficult for me to play fighting games anymore because they are a very high, there's a big time commitment. If you want to get a lot out of a fighting game, you need to get proficient at it, and that's a big time investment. And I have not had a lot of time to play a lot of the fighting games that have come out recently to any meaningful capacity, so. But anyway, let's get this farming over with so we can go test out Izo and Lobo. Because I do want to see Izo in action. I don't expect he's going to like impress me that much. I think he will impress me when we're fighting man. I'll say that. If you're fighting man and humanoid, I do think he'll impress to an extent. I really do. But other than that specifically, I don't think he's going to be anything too special. So that kind of makes me sad. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong, and maybe he's just going to be god tier. And then Lobo is I mean, just whatever. Yeah, if I was like old and retired and somehow still had the reflexes and stuff to play a fighting game, I would probably play fighting games more. But I play BlazBlue a lot for sure. But yeah, I just don't have time for that shit. And once, you know, if I ever, you know, get to the retirement era, I doubt I would have the reflexes to do so well in fighting games anyway at that point. Look, I love Lobo. Lobo is a great unit. I love his character. He's super unique. He's nothing like, there's no character like him, and he's got a real reason to be pissed. Like, I really like Lobo. He looks fantastic. His quick cards look extra cool because he's got like, and his portrait, he's got the blue flame coming out of his mouth, and the quick card background is this nice green, and it looks like super cool. By the way, green is what matters in life. Anyway, so yeah, I really like Lobo. Best Valentine's Day scene in the game. And yeah, is a German mercenary that rides him is also awesome, and is like, we got a really cool dynamic with him. Legitimately, Lobo is a fucking awesome character, and I wish his gameplay was 10 out of 10, and it's not garbage, but I just wish he was a little bit better. I like his buff removal. That's legit good. I like that because that's unique and that gives him a utility that most units don't have. You know, Jolter ain't doing that. But I wish he was just a little bit better. He's better than Antonio, I'll say that, by a noticeable amount. One of the few Avengers that's not a tsundere. True. He's one of the few Avengers that I like, honestly. There's a lot of failure in the Avenger class, in my opinion. Although there is Edmund. There's Edmund, there's Lobo, and there's Angra. And then Jolter's better as a ruler. So that doesn't count. And we're never going to get a ruler version, so that's not happening. That's about it. Am I forgetting anybody? Let me look at the Avenger. Oh, Antonio's alright. He's alright character-wise. He's just his gameplay is trash. Okay, so I like Edmund, I like Angra, I like Lobo, and I like Antonio. Yep, that's it. Fuck the rest of them. But that is actually a high percent of them because there's so few Avengers. That's not half of them. That's under half of them. But yeah, I don't like any of the other ones. I like Ushi. I don't like Avenger Ushi because it's only like 5% Ushi. So, and like she looks stupid with the pants. Like she's wearing a toilet paper dispenser on her chest. That's not great. Her NP looks cool, I'll say that, but I don't like the character really. I know she's like a little bit more Ushi in stage 3, I think, or whatever, but it's whatever. Like if I'm fine with regular Ushi over fucking the Avenger one. So, oh yeah, there's Nobu. I guess Nobu's fine. I don't mind Nobu. I don't like super hype Nobu, but I don't have any real hate for Nobu other than just the typical gender bin woes. But you have stage 2, which is not a gender bin, kind of. So that's the thing. Gorgon would be better if it was actually Gorgon instead of Semi-Gorgon, but they're cowards and they didn't want to do that. Alright, I think what we'll do is we'll jump on my other account, so we gotta get on my phone, which may just crash constantly. So from what I understand, basically the game engine for FGO is so out of date, the Unity, like the version of Unity they're using. Basically, they haven't done their patches. They haven't been patching the Unity engine. And so it's super out of date and it's not even supported anymore. And because the Unity version that FGO is using is not supported anymore, there's a lot of bugs and problems, and it's not compatible anymore with a lot of phones. Like it's basically like certain style of phones have like certain chipsets on them or whatever that it does not it's not compatible with anymore. And so certain types of phone, not all, thankfully some phones still work just fine, but certain types of phones, the game is just nigh unplayable on them. It's like crazy. And so when I play on my phone, which is like a very new phone, and I don't do anything on it but play FGO, I don't even browse the internet on it. And yeah, it's one of the newer models of phone. It struggles a lot. So if I play on Samsung DeX, it actually runs pretty well. If I play like my main account, vanilla on Samsung DeX, the game will only crash maybe every 30 minutes. Maybe not even that sometimes. If I play normally on my phone and I'm not using Samsung DeX, it crashes every stage. Like, no exaggeration. Sometimes more than once every stage. It just crash. And if I play on secure folder, which is how I play my ult account, it crashes like every time I NP. And every time I use Gilgamesh's Buster card. I'm not kidding. Every time I use Gilgamesh's Buster card, the game crashes. Now, I have not tried, though, playing my ult account on Samsung DeX, and that might fix it, at least to an extent, so we'll see. But if it crashes like all the time, that's going to really limit our abilities to do this. That's why I'm playing emulator right now, because it doesn't fucking crash. It's stupid, dude. But alright, let me go switch to me phone and hope it does not explode. But yeah, they need to update the version, their like client or whatever for the Unity engine. It's kind of ridiculous, dude. Like, how do you let your game get that out of date, like with your fucking game engine? But it just goes back to what I was saying. It's like they can't even keep up with the basics of what they need to do in FGO, and like that's why the events are so bare bones, because like I really think that's why they bought out DW. It's just because they just couldn't keep up. They just couldn't keep up. For some reason, it's not. Oh, it's because I don't have my capture card turned on. Excuse me. That would explain why. I literally have to like get it to display on my monitor through my capture card, and I didn't have my capture card turned on. So, okay, I think now we're in business here. Yeah, depending on how bad it runs has kind of to do with what style of phone you have. It's not even about if the phone is new or old, although that doesn't help. It's more about like what kind of hardware it's using, right? Even if it's really powerful hardware, it's like a compatibility issue from what I understand. It's a bit more complicated than that, and there's more than one issue at play from what I gather, but... Apparently there's a small update coming, like, this coming month. They're gonna try to, like, semi-fix it, but they're not gonna actually update the game engine until September, which is kind of wild. Alright, I guess we'll jump on the old... Look, wait, let me think about this. What... Are there any bosses in, like, CCC? Like, wanted bosses that are man? Because if we fought at neutral, that kind of mimics a really hard boss, right? And then if we get our niches, though... Because if you fight them at neutral with Ezo, you're essentially doubling the enemy stats, and that makes them pretty tough. So I'm trying to think if there's any... Okay, what even the fuck... What is man, attribute-wise? Let's see here. Who the fuck has man? Oh, Emiya has man. There we go. That's one, and that's one of the harder fights. You get quick up, and we're not quick, so that's perfect. Yeah, Emiya. We'll go Emiya. Okay. Hold on, I gotta put in my pen here. But yeah, if they don't fix it proper soon, I might just have to play on emulator until they do fix it. And I don't like that. I don't like breaking terms of service and everything, but I mean, if the game literally doesn't run properly on the device, that, you know, it's absurd that you don't run on a mainstream, you know, current generation phone, right? That's not my fault at that point. Yeah, he'll fucking destroy George, because class advantage on that one. Oh yeah, we can show off the new unit too. I haven't even seen their animations yet. I completely forgot. That's probably what most people would be interested in, is actually showing off the new unit, excuse me. Does anyone have her? Because we can do the gauntlet with her, like with fighting Lobo and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we can do Ezo first. Yeah, I completely forgot about the new unit. I talked about them for like 5 seconds at the start of the stream, and then I just completely forgot about them. I'm not sure if they're popular or not, so... I don't, like, hate them, but I certainly don't hype them. Yeah, I care about Ezo the most, for sure. Okay, is this the Emiya one? Yeah, this should be. He gets his NP when you break his bar, so you gotta be a little careful about that. Alright, do I have you added on my ult account, Ace? I do. There's our boy. He's got his buff. Got some decent command codes. I don't know about this CE, though. I don't think that's particularly good here. I think we're going to want starting NP. I really think this CE... I know I bring this up a lot, and I'm in disagreement with some people. I think this CE is overrated. And the reason it's overrated is because not having starting NP is overrated. Now, if you don't need starting NP, this is a very good CE, right? Like, if because you have the right supports, or the context with the boss, whatever the reason, if you do not want starting NP, this is a very, very good CE. But I think starting NP is just so fucking meta that it's just not that good. Now, like, if I was using double Castoria, this would probably be great, right? But I feel like the value drop from lack of starting NP is not worth it. The only way, I'll say this is probably worth it if Ace doesn't have a good level 100 starting in PCE. For example, maybe something like something that would increase your NP damage and then your crit damage, because Ezo has a crit thing. But then also, if you happen to get bad RNG and you don't crit, you'd want the CE to also make you do more damage if you didn't crit, right? So you'd want something, I guess that'd be a tack up, chat, right? So then the NP does more damage, the normal cards do more damage, the crits do more damage, the non-crits do more damage. So like Golden Sumo, there we go, chat. That would, if you had like a Golden Sumo, I'm gonna give you Necromancer, don't test me, but a Golden Sumo would be pretty good. But anyway, so jokes aside, actually that's not a joke. Everything I just said, chat, like y'all give me the faces. Everything I just said is true. Like this is unironically is exactly a good chance of what I'm talking about, because you might fail to crit with Ezo, and so then you want to attack him instead of crit up, right, and shit like that. And you're going to do the Buster card some, and you're going to NP a lot, and you know, so the attack up is very good. But anyway, so like Painting Summer would be good, the Virtua CE would be good, Golden Sumo would be good, shit like that. But if you don't have any of those at level 100, then honestly, this one is probably fine. But like, so I don't think starting NP is what we want, but we'll see. Especially because we want to break his first health bar right as he gets his NP, right? And we might be too slow otherwise, but we'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, I got to make the team anyway. Okay, this is supposed to be the Lobo team, and we're not fighting Lobo right now, but, you know, close enough. Okay. Mozart seems like a given. Han seems like a given. The question is, where's the placement of these? Han's on the start, seems obvious. Good start with Mozart. It's not necessarily bad. We need a way to survive Unlimited Blade Works. We've got the Evade on Izo and the Mystic Code, so that's something. You could work in David as well. Yep, David's fine, and he's not counterclassing, so we're not cheesing anything. Alright. Obviously, Mash is super good here, but we normally avoid that if the stage isn't really, really hard. Just because it's too safe. I feel like we want to go pretty gas mode, because he is a burst unit. I wonder if Hohenheim is worth it. The NP gain is nice, but it's only 20% art up. You know what, chat? This account doesn't have them, but the new... for once, the new caster might be okay. Izo would certainly like 100% crit up and a star absorb. Like, that's not bad. And you give him, like, you give the new caster, a Star Bomb CE. I tell you, another one that would be good is her, but she's 144, so... But, like, on my main account, I would actually... I could definitely see Matahari being good. What's another option, then, though? There's Martha. I don't know if that's budget enough. But because I'm lacking, like, Matahari and whatnot, I feel okay using her as a stand-in. I think that's okay. We do need to fix Matahari on this account. I think she's a bit better than I gave her credit for since her last buff. Now, I don't think, her last buff is still not amazing, and it's not the main reason you bring her. It's not. It's the other stuff. But the thing, in addition to the other stuff, makes her, like, useful more often, right? Especially when you are using a crit character. But yeah, you still bring Martha for the... not Martha, Matahari. You still bring Matahari for the original reason that you would have brought her before. Maybe 2030. Don't know if I need to NP that fast. Where is 2030? There it is. Very Fate Extra right here. What for Mozart? Could do Star Bomb and then his own Star Bomb. Or another 2030. Or something on Death. You know, actually something on Death sounds pretty good. Either... We'll do that. That's mimicable by Himlon, so it's very budget friendly. We'll do the old Caneth CD. Yeah, this is some good art right here. Dude, Kojiro to this day is one of my absolute favorite Fate characters. He's top 5. Like, I love his character, dude, and like I like how his character motivation is just so different from everyone else. To the point where I'd say most of the community literally doesn't even understand him. Most people would kind of miss the plot on that one. Go Golden Carp. A rather good craft essence that has Kentoki on it. So Golden Carp is generally replaceable by like so many craft essences because the main reason you bring it is the Star Bomb, not the starting NP. However, on her, it's pretty irreplaceable. The combination of exactly 50% starting NP with her own self battery and her passive it's incredible. And then the fact that it makes Star Bomb and she has Star Bomb, this combo right here, this CE with her, when her skills are 10-10-10 and her second passive is 10, is very strong. That makes her an awesome fucking unit, like so good. And yeah, there's no other CE that can really do that, unless you... Now you can stand in with just not doing her NP right away, right? And then you don't need the starting NP. But if you need to do the NP right away and do the Star Bomb and everything, there's no other way to do it. There's no other CE that does that. Yeah, it's good on Hans too. I don't think it's as good, but it absolutely is good on Hans. Because then he makes stars right away, and then he makes stars per turn with his third skill. And he has starting NP. So he can like save his second skill and go straight to the NP, and then use the second skill right after and do the NP again. Or he can just immediately use his second skill and NP as the second he shows up. It gives you options. So yeah, it's very good on Hans. Hans has a lot of good CEs though. I actually like that about Hans. 2030 is good, any starting NP is good, NP gain is good, Prism Cosmos with like NP passively per turn is good, Demonic is good because the overcharge and the starting NP, so you can just boom boom, right, because overcharge is nice with his effects. Star Bomb is good, Straw survivability if you need to like keep him there for a long time is good. Huge options. Alright, at the end, what's like a last second support we could use? You know what? She is not a... Okay, I wish I was on my main account. My main account has her at 10-10-10. Because she has art up, he's art. She has crit up, he does crit stuff. She has attack up, that's obviously good. She has a heal now. She really could be a decent support for him in the right context. You need to make a good chunk of stars, because she's a writer, but that's not that hard to compensate for. Even on budget. But yeah, because her skill ranks aren't there, it's not worth. I guess. Could do an emergency guts or something. I'll do Star Bomb again. I feel like when you have like weaker support, Star Bomb is kind of always the answer. Some extra crits are good. I think we go default. Alright, let's see what Ace changed. I have a feeling this is going to be Troll, but then we'll okay, no, that's good. I could see that being good here. The only bad thing about this CE is just the fact that it's split stat, but it does help you loop and whatnot, so it's nice. And sometimes having extra health is good. There are times that the extra health is nice. 82, that's pretty good. All right. That CE is like painful to level, but it can be worth it to level. It really is. It's not fun because it doesn't give you that, you know, huge damage boost, but overall it is very practical to get that CE to 100. By the way, chat, I remember when Golden Sumo got its rerun on Japan, and when Golden Sumo got its rerun on NA. And I knew on NA that was going to be the last time you were going to see it for a very long time. Because even if JP ever added it, NA would have to wait 2 years. And I remember making, I think, a community post about make sure you get it. Like, if you're playing FGO, make sure you get Golden Sumo Limit Broken. And I remember thinking, you know, and I remember saying it on Discord, I remember saying it in YouTube comments, and like videos I posted around that time. The reason I did that is because it's so good, and I foresaw that what is happening right now, what Chad is doing right now, this childish attitude that Chad is displaying over Golden Sumo. I knew it was going to happen. I knew for an absolute fact that Golden Sumo is such good general purpose, you know, craft essence, and they're probably never going to add another one that's... They're going to add other craft essences that are like, you know, specialized and better, and of course that's the case. But for the general, you know, use in like leveling it to 100 and all that, they just weren't going to add another one. And yeah, I knew this was going to happen, so I tried to get as many people Golden Sumo as possible, because I knew you were going to have a bunch of people, you know, playing the game after, or they didn't limit break it. As I know there's probably a couple people in chat right now that have Golden Sumo, but it's not limit broken. You know who you are. Meanwhile, you did not even need to farm a drop. You did not need to get Golden Sumo as a drop to limit break it. It's not one of those. But anyway, yeah, I knew it was going to happen, and you're going to have eventually people were going to say it's a, you know, a boomer craft essence. Although here's the one for you. Back when Golden Sumo was added for the final time on NA, the whole boomer thing wasn't a thing yet. That had not caught on yet. That was not like a common lingo at the time. But yeah, I was aware people were going to be like, oh, that's an old CE, no one has that anymore, blah, 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 blah. I knew that was going to happen eventually, so I tried to get as many people it as possible. I'm not memeing right now. I absolutely knew this was going to happen, but I don't feel bad about using Golden Sumo in videos, though, because it's so mimicable. There's nothing special about Golden Sumo. You know, it's obviously very good, and it's You know, it's the best boom for your buck you're ever going to get out of leveling a Craft Essence, but it doesn't do something gameplay-wise that cannot be made up for by another Craft Essence. It is what it is. Now, the sad part is, you're going to have to level like 5 Craft Essences or 4 Craft Essences or whatever a lot of times to match Golden Sumo for the different card colors and unit types and stuff, and it's really annoying. But if you do that, then you're really not going to miss Golden Sumo at that point. It's just a lot of work to get to that point. Alright, how do we want to play Izo? I guess on turn 1 we don't do a whole lot, so I'm going to do this and this. Do I do the crit down so I just don't potentially explode? I don't think it's necessary. So we'll grab Hans's NP, and then we're gonna try to go big burn next turn. I'm hoping I get my NP here from Hans's skill, and oh yeah, we got quick up as a gimmick, so we got way more NP there than normal. Jesus Christ, he almost killed him. So because I went 11% over, and it's actually 12% because of the roundup, we probably would have gotten our NP without the quick up, but it would have been very, very close. And if he had just attacked us one time, then it wouldn't have been a problem. So this sucks because there's no need to do a Mozart's. I'm actually going to heal Mozart in case, like, so he can still survive like a quick attack and maybe an art attack. He probably still dies to Buster, and he dies to any kind of crit. But I want to save his third skill because this is not the time for it. Alright, okay, our next hand, if no one dies, has an Izo Buster card and an Izo Art card in it, and it has Mozart's Buster card in it, and I think Hans's Buster card in it, so I can do Buster and then Izo Art, Izo Buster. So I wanna think about this. We wanna like maximize, and if Mozart's there, it's a guaranteed crit turn. So the Star Absorb is not gonna matter now or then. The crit from our evade is good, but it's probably not worth using because the NP is going to be coming up. So I think we just first skill. And actually, we hope to God we don't break. If we break, we actually want to evade, because then we do even more damage, and then we will be safe from Unlimited Blade Works. But I don't think we do the attack. No, we probably do the attack up here. I don't think we're going to break. I mean, again, we're at neutral, so the boss essentially has 600,000 health. If I was at counterclassing, so I would think we're not gonna break here. Such a mistake though if we do break. I'll be really underestimating Izo. I mean, his niche, he's got his niche here with his NP upgrade. We're getting the anti-humanoid and we're getting anti-man, and we've got lots of damage ups. I do agree. I'm glad Izo and I wouldn't. NP gain would have been fine, but they didn't get battery, which I assume is what you mean. NP charge, whatever you want to call it. NP gain rate, would have been fine, but then getting battery would have been really stupid. Oh no. Oh no. I should have evaded. I underestimated our damage so hard there. That would have been almost 1,000,000 damage at counterclass. And then actually because of the crit, because he did like 500k, and I don't know how much the crit did, but the crit surely did a lot. If that was counterclassing, he probably would have done over 1,000,000 damage with the crit and everything else. Man, and we had a guaranteed. Okay, chat. He's good in his niche. I'll say that. He's really good in his niche. I'm curious how good he is at level 70, though. I really want to see that. We'll probably use a 71 here in a minute, actually. I'd be very curious how he does here at 70 in his niche. Because that was impressive. And he looped. That's another thing. He fucking looped right there. So that was pretty nuts. Now that was also a godly hand because we got enough NP gain to get our NP, but we didn't blow our art card. So that was a very good opening. Like this one's probably not going to go as smoothly, but we'll see. Castoria with Izo, that's something. The thing is 100 faces godly with Castoria too, so. Well, we get our NP no matter what here, but unfortunately we're going to have less, like, good stuff coming our way down the pipeline. But still. Now, I could do the crits now, but I don't think we need to, so we'll wait. I could probably do Buster, but I don't care enough. We'll do it like that. Should be enough NP gain. Okay, well, apparently Izo can break here. So I don't even think I do the attack up. We did so much damage that, like, the NP might not break without the attack up, but the crit's got it, so... Now, the shitty thing is, Mozart's gonna die. And then I don't get to do his guaranteed crit turn. That sucks. That really sucks. If this fight was harder, and like if the boss had more health and I couldn't break right now unless I did more damage, you would do Mozart's crit turn on turn 1 to just do a little extra crit damage there, right? But the fight's not hard enough, and because of the break bar, there's just no way I can't get value out of this card. I could evade Mozart. Do I think that's worth it? Not really, honestly. That sucks, but unfortunately, there's just the way the fight's lining up. I just think we let it go. Yeah, just is what it is. Imagine not getting to use Mozart's third skill. Hans does make a lot of stars with his third skill, and then we also made some stars with that quick card. So, it's pretty. If Hans and Mozart did not die here, we would need Mozart's third skill. But damn, we didn't even need the crit there. Shit. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think he's still better than Hohenheim, because you got to understand, Mozart is still doing a fuckload. He still gave us a 64% art up. That's huge. That was a massive part of that damage we just did. And it also made our NP region way better. Like, why do you think we had so much fucking NP right now? Now, we probably could have looped anyway with Hohenheim, because he's got the NP gain and all that. But 64% art up is no joke, and 20% of it lasts 3 turns, and he gives us the crit down. Like, he's still doing plenty. It's just, coincidentally, it just didn't line up here. And if the boss was harder, we would have used Mozart's third skill on turn 1, right? If this boss was, like, super hard, we could have gotten value out of that on turn 1, right? And done a bunch of damage right off the bat. I could have done Buster, too. I could have done Hans's Buster card, and then done the quick art, and then had guaranteed crits there, and then done Hans's crit up on that turn, and done a huge amount of damage right there. The boss simply just doesn't have enough health for that to be relevant. But yeah, in a harder fight, Mozart would be... He already was good, but he'd be even better. Alright, what do we want here? We, let's see. We don't need the battery right now. Do I think it's worth saving it? Probably, because we are going to have a bit of a drop-off on damage here. Well, not necessarily. We've got this. We got the attack down, though, but I could offset that if I did use... You know what? Fuck it. Embrace the burst. Yeah, and I forgot. I thought I'd used this, but I even made the decision not to. So yeah, no, we can kill here, I think. Gotta zeet the app if we do. So I'm not gonna lie, this is nuts. Now, unfortunately, you don't get to do this very often because you need them to be man and humanoid. But that's more common than, I don't know, evil and human. But I wonder what made me think of that comparison, chat. Okay, this needs to be a video. This needs to be a video. After the stream, I'm making the buff Izo a video, and... Okay, that wasn't quite as good as I thought it was going to be, but that was still really good. Like, this is still a very good performance. Well, there are some enemies that will be man that aren't servants and things like that. So I'm sure there's some weird time that won't line up, but man is just not that common. It's not that rare either, you know, it's kind of a medium niche, if you will. Now this is where, so legit, Ace, can I get you to give him sure hit command codes, just because the video I want to like just be a dick and like show off, right? So we don't need crit damage, right? Normally we would if we were fighting a super hard boss, but for this fight we might want to evade for this turn. I might message you too, because for the video I'm probably going to fight more than one thing. We'll probably murder Emiya, we'll probably, you know, do some Mimi stuff here and there, so the video might be different stuff, so I might like ask you to switch around some stuff. But I don't know, maybe I could work in something to just give us sure hit on like this turn so we could win right here. Because this turn's kind of painful, we're just sitting around. But yeah, we don't, the crit up stuff is awesome for like other bosses, it's just kind of pointless here because we don't need it. I don't know, maybe keep the crit up though, just because like on that turn earlier it mattered. And then for like this turn it could matter. So, not terrible. But yeah, we're we kind of slowed down a bit there, but we got it. This should do the job here. Although he's got double defense buff. Yeah, just keep him as is, and then I'll message you if we need something specific. I feel like that's the smart way to go about it. Okay, there we go. That was still a very good performance though, like, that was not bad at all. Yeah, I'm making an Izo video right after the stream. Absolutely. And even if his buff was more crap, which, you know, I'm still not crazy about the buff. I mean, it's a niche, right? Outside of the niche, he's still, you know, so inferior to 100 face. And honestly, if the burst doesn't work out, because let's say you're fighting a boss that just, the health bars are small. So why do you need to hit them for that much damage, right? 100 face is just so much better. Like, I don't think things have changed. 100 face is still better than Izo, but you know, in his niche, there's still that's good, right? Like, there are going to be times you are going to want that kind of burst damage. So I'm going to be working on a new 3-star tier list video at some point. Whenever I've got like a lot of free time, I'm going to start working on the 1 to 3-star tier list update. So I'm glad Izo got buffed before that, because that's kind of a... I'm gonna have to do a lot of testing though, especially with a 70 Izo. Like, I'm gonna have to do a lot of testing with a 70 Izo. That's gonna be a bit of a pain. Anyone got the new unit? Anybody got the new unit? She does not seem to be the most hyped, so I don't know if anyone actually has her or not. If only Ku was rated up, I'd roll for Ku, but although I guess I wouldn't hate rolling for Izo a bit just to get some coins for him, but I don't know, I don't really want to roll on this banner on my main account. We need her to be decently upgraded. I mean, we could use her just to show off her animations, even if she is scuffed. We could just do like a whatever stage just to show off. Because I actually haven't seen the animations yet. Yeah, we'll do that. That's fair. I should have done this at the start of the stream. I like baited everyone. I'm like, oh, new event, come watch the stream. And it's like, we take an hour and a half or some shit to actually do anything. I mean, I did the main story and all that, and it was just so boring. That was basically non-content. All right, where do we go? You know what? We'll throw something nasty out of here. We'll go. We'll have her solo Lobo to show off her animations. That's brutal, but who knows? Maybe they win somehow. They're a writer, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Remember yesterday, chat, I was talking about, you know, generic waifu 99 and like how to get views, because I guarantee you, the second she dropped, someone posted a video of like 3 turning Kiara or whatever the fuck with like Castor or Tor. You remember what I was talking about yesterday? That I guarantee you that happened. That I haven't looked. I guarantee that happened. Right? All the, you know, usual clickbaity stuff and just the same old, and that gets all the views and stuff. That's what I was talking about literally yesterday. How I'm glad I don't have to do that. Right? Like I don't want to have to like, you know, hunt down every new unit and fucking do that kind of bullshit to get YouTube views. So fuck that. Yeah, pretty boring, and it's just content I'm not interested in. So I don't want to feel like oh, I need to get YouTube views, so I have to do that because that's what gets YouTube views. Because it is. If you want to be successful, that's what you got to do. and I'm really glad that I don't have to give a shit. So yeah, I don't want to fucking do that kind of content. I hate making those kind of thumbnails and everything, dude. I don't like making thumbnails, period, let alone, like, you know, the typical stuff. Alright, do I not have you added, Arjuna? What are we doing here? Is it one of your other accounts, Arjuna? Is it not your I Love Arjuna account? Because I know you've got like 5 billion, so it, hard for me to know. Is Arjuna the only one? Because I don't know why, but Arjuna says it's going to take a while, so... Is there anyone else in chat that has the new unit? Because if not, we could do something with Lobo while we wait. Well, we ultimately just need to see the animations, so... Kill something with Stheno. Actually, Stheno was good in this boss fight, right here. Like, no joke. Ace, don't you actually have a better Stheno than me? My Stheno account still has a ways to go. Actually, we're not even on the Stheno account right now, but we will be in a minute. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure Ace actually has a Stheno greater than mine. Chat, I whiffed the 4-star ticket on the Stheno account. I didn't pick anything, I forgot. I picked on my main, I picked on my ult, I picked on the Hercules account, but I did not pick on the Stheno account, I just forgot. And so we did not pick Stheno, and we don't have MP2 Stheno because of that. I'm actually pretty pissed about that. I just forgot. I just forgot to do it. That's all there was to it. So I guess I Love Arjuna is the only person that has the new unit. So in the meantime, what shall we do? We could use Izo again against Lobo. We could do that. He doesn't get his man niche, but he gets the upgraded NP. Let's try the same team. Let's go, this is super bursty. Let's go violence. So much violence. Oh boy, we're gonna really regret the command codes not changing on this one though. In this fight, it's all about him having defense up and evade constantly. That's gonna get annoying. This will show though how much harder this fight is at neutral than like even Emiya there. Oh, do you have the new unit? Okay, do I don't know if I have you added or not. Well, it's a little late now because we're in this stage here, but okay, you know what? I kind of want to do the crits here, just because I think it's likely we're going to have the same problem as before. And our evade is only good now because his NP has sure hit on it. Okay, we could do some solid damage here. Not like our big turn, but... Okay, here's our big turn. I lied. It's actually Mozart's big turn. Are you... Oh my god. Alright, alright. Let me think about this. Oh god, every card, dude. Do I art up anyway? We have 2 art cards in the next hand, man. You're killing me. Does our first skill do anything other than the crit buff? Is Lobo humanoid because of his rider? Because we definitely don't get the... Okay, hold on, let me look. Let me look at Lobo. What has he got? He's Earth. He is humanoid, because I guess the rider, that's fucked up. Yeah, he's like humanoid and demonic beast. Well, I guess we do it then. We're not gonna get, I don't know, because we got 0 cards, I think this run is just so inferior to like any run where I got a single Izo card here. But I guess we'll do it. What will our damage be? Hans, land the attack buff. We're scuffed enough, we don't need any extra scuff. Do your one job. There you go. I'm gonna be right back. Well, actually, hold on. Let me watch this damage. For some reason, I thought Hans was the only NP. I don't know what I'm doing here. Is this going to be good? Not bad. Not bad. I mean, so much less than against Emiya there. Not even remotely close, but that's all right. But like right here, 100 face would be way better. Like 100 face in this fight, much better. But all right, let me be right back. I need to grab a granola bar. All right, I am back. Not quite the ideal crit spread. My god, though, this fight is so much harder than Emiya. This is not looking good. I probably should have done the attack up on the NP turn. Really, we just needed to get one of those art cards with our NP. That's what we needed. That was a massive value drop. Ooh, we're gonna die. If I had made the team, though, like, designed for Lobo, we'd be alright. But I literally copy-pasted the other team, which is not, like, that good here. Chat, somehow, I don't understand. I hate when this happens because it's just pure bad RNG. How is Izo the one that's about to die, and none of the other two are dead? When Izo was level 100, they're level 60, and he's evaded twice, and he's been healed. I've healed him for 3,000, and I have evaded him twice. I have done no such thing for the other two units. And Izo has significantly more HP than they do. And somehow neither of them have died. And so I can't get my back row to come. That is so unlikely. Mozart is the true hero on the team. That seems to be the case. Just get lucky, forehead. Chat, I'm holding the person that said Lobo has a grudge against Izo. I'm holding them personally responsible for what happened here. By the way, the game just crashed. Okay, that run just didn't happen, chat. That was a lost belt. We pruned those. Mozart was still alive, by the way. Again, we had 2 turns where Izo could not take damage, right? The 2 evade turns. We had 2 turns where he could not take damage, and we healed him. And he has higher base HP than Mozart by, like, double? I'm not sure. Let's look. Let's see what the HP difference is. I just need like any stage here. Okay. It was, okay, that's a bit more than I was thinking. I guess he's just statted that way. But it's 8,000 HP to 15. Like, that's a pretty big difference still. It's almost double. It's not double, but it's almost double. So he's almost double the health. And then he has 2 turns where he was evaded. So that was 2 whole turns he couldn't take any damage. And we healed him for 3,000. So it's essentially 18,000 health. So he has like just over 10,000 more health than Mozart. And then 2 turns where he's invulnerable, which that is so much tankier. And Hans was there, right? But yeah, Mozart somehow be living when he was objectively the most likely one to die first. All right, see if we can find that new unit. Need to make some room on the list here in case someone needs to send me an invite. Poor guy, his name is new, probably like new to the game, and then he hasn't played in an ungodly amount of time there. Okay, not looking like we got anything. Okay, Arjuna's got her up. Alright, let's see those animations. Watch her die in 5 seconds in this fight. We probably should pick an easier fight for this, but you know, School of Hard Knocks. Oh damn. Arjuna went harder than necessary, I would say, but I will not complain. Alright, no faux items though. I know what that's like. That's kind of funny being level 90 and no faux items. I've had that happen like one or 2 times. Normally though, I've got a good chunk of faux items sitting around. Because I don't obtain new units that I care about too often. Alright, let me bring up their toolkit, because I only looked at it once. Alright. Right. Battery for teammates. I think 30% battery for self, 10% for teammates. Because, you know, of course, right? They literally just cannot make a new unit without battery. Evade, all color up, crit up, NP up, baby heal. Debuff immunity, only 1 time though, but that's solid. And then army, they got a lot of damage, to be honest. Alright, pretty straightforward toolkit though. Let's see, do I want to battery right off the bat? I don't think so, and it's an especially bad time for the star bomb, so nope. The doggo is pretty cool, I won't lie. Alright, we'll go slow-mo in a second so we can see the animations better. This reminds me of, was it Okami? Was that the game where you play as the doggo? Kind of gives me those vibes. Alright. So I'm pretty sure from what people have said, I think it's like, so this character's gender bend because of course, but it's like in actual proper history, they are still a guy, but then as a servant, they materialize as a waifu because something to do with like a family member they're like honoring, or I don't understand. It's a bullshit excuse to gender bend them, is what I'm getting at, but it's some nonsense like that. It's always something, you know. It's the daughter. Okay, that's more like it's kind of like Hokusai, not exactly, because Hokusai literally is the daughter. All right, let's go slow-mo here. Let me make sure we don't have sure hit or some crap. I didn't look at our NP effects. Right, tiny star bomb, evil bonus damage. Which Lobo is evil, so that's something. And he's demonic beast, I think. I don't know if her demon works on that. I don't think it does. Daughter-in-law, I see. Basically, if there is the slightest justification to make a character female, they will take it. And even if you have an equivalent situation for the genders being reversed, they won't. Which I'm not a fan of, right? That kind of, it's just silly. It's like, it's pandering, it's just an excuse. That's kind of a cool NP. Actually, so far I've liked the normal attacks though more than the NP, I would say. That's pretty cool. Little stiff at the end, right? Like they're kind of going out of their way to not reanimate them, so like that slash through is quite stiff looking. But overall, the normal attacks are kind of cool. Yeah, that NP would be better without the cut-in. That's another one of the cut-ins that it feels like they just did it to like meet a quota, not because it fits. You know, some cut-ins work, for real. Some of the cut-ins really work. That was not one of them. By the way, I forgot to bring guts, so we are going to die very quickly here. But yeah, the attacks are fine. I don't mind the attacks at all. The only complaint I really have is with the extra attack being a bit stiff at the end. Alright, that the whole slash through thing looks kind of bad. But that's it. I mean, other than that, they're fine. Yeah, the NP could be better. Like the cut-in was pretty out of place there. It didn't really hit the vibe, I would say. Alright, we get like one more combo, and then we're about... No, we get two more if I don't die here. Guess we could do that. I mean, I want to see Long Range Buster one more time, because I'm not even sure we did it. That's really cool. I really like that one. Unfortunately, that's one you'll almost never see, but... Boy, I tell you though, they are working really hard to not animate her like fully from the side. I can just tell, like through all the animations, they probably didn't make as many like you know, sprites from her from different angles, so they're kind of like going out of the way to not have her move in like a fluid way. Okay. One more NP, then we dead. Yeah, I don't know if she has different animations. Does anyone know? Oh, she does? That would explain why they're kind of phoning these in a little bit. I mean, they're not bad, but... okay, can we see one of the other stages then, Arjuna? Because we'll check that out. My guess is the wolf isn't there or something like that. Honestly, that's a pretty cool NP until right there. Then it's just like, okay, why is this here? But I actually like it a good bit. What I would do if she was like in a challenge quest and we fought her, the first time she NPs, I would show the cut-in, and then after that I would just edit it out. Save time anyway. You mean another Galatea, as in is incredibly unpopular? She'll be more popular than Galatea. I don't know if she's going to be super popular because she is kind of just waifu 99, right? But, you know, it's got the, like, I don't know, weeb aesthetic to an extent, right? So that'll make it more popular. You know, got a battery. People are always happy about that. I think she'll do all right, but she's not gonna sell like, you know, Morgan. You know, of course not even close. But she'll probably do better than Galatea. It's hard to do as bad as Galatea. I hate to say this because like Otto's here and Otto's a big Galatea fan. I'm not trying to hate on the character, but she's one of the worst performing characters in the game's entire history, right? Like it is difficult to sell that badly. You know, I'm not even sure there even is another character that has done worse than her. So I know Karen was really close. Karen did really bad too. I forget. I think Galatea was worse than Karen, but I might be wrong. Let me give Arjuna a second. Let me know when you've relogged. Yeah, Karen and Galatea did really bad. They not. I mean, I was surprised about Karen. I wasn't really surprised about Galatea, but I was surprised about Karen being that unpopular. Nope, still hasn't changed. What you gotta do, Arjuna, literally, if all you do is change the stage, it won't update no matter what. Like, the game does not register that as something, like, even if you, like, relog, it just won't care. Wait, is that the second stage? I don't even know, but I'm just saying, if all you do is change the stage, it won't even update. You have to, like, change out another unit or whatever. But yeah, I have no idea what stage is what, so I have no clue, but, every slot except the way. Of course, it's literally the last one that I looked at. I'm pretty sure this is the same one. You know, that's still stage 3. You probably just gotta, like, reslot a different unit. Or, like, unequip and re-equip a craft essence. Because, like, I know this game. I've messed around with the support list enough when I'm, like, using my own units. The game just doesn't register a sprite change as like a difference. The game is just technically the same thing. So you have to do something else on the support list for it to be like, oh, I need to actually update what units are there. And then while it's added, it's like, oh, the sprite's different. It's really weird, but it is what it is. Yeah, actually, Galatea's design and everything makes complete sense to me. Like, she's for those that don't know, her, like, actual lore is she's, like, a statue that was created by, I think, Aphrodite, and it was, like, brought to life, right? So she's a fucking statue. And, obviously, and they translated that to, like, Mecha Lady, which that makes so much sense to me, right? So her being kind of, you know, bland on the color palette, and then being, like, robotic, because she's a statue, that makes complete sense to me, right? So I have no problem with that. And actually, I think Galatea's gameplay is actually pretty fun. It's not my favorite Berserker in the game by any means, but I don't mind it. Yeah, no doggo, it looks like. I had a feeling that would be the case. Anyway, so yeah, Galatea's fine to me. Not really my cup of tea, right? So I didn't roll or anything, but you know, I like the character more than a hell of a lot of the other characters that they have. Well, that's not really true, though. First off, what the Olympians create does not necessarily gonna, you know, mimic them. Also, the Olympians in the form that they are accepted by humanity in are not robots. Like Aphrodite, if she's like summoned somehow, will be in her bot form, right, with like red hair and all that, like she was in the event. She was in the Galatea event. Basically their terminal forms, their avatar form, right, what hologram, whatever you want to call it. Like how Artemis is with Orion is not a robot, right? That it's literally not, because the versions of them that are like recorded by human history are their avatars, essentially, right? And the stuff that they interact with through those, like if they have kids or whatnot, you know, they're just normal. They're not going to have like robotic parts or anything like that. The reason Galatea is robotic is not because of the Greek stuff, where like their true bodies are robots. That's not why. It's literally the statue thing. Okay, let's see here. Well, there's more to the Galatea story than just being a statue. There's like, you know, why she was created and like all that kind of. There's plenty of stuff there. And you know, Galatea is not like my favorite character ever, of course not. But I mean, Arjuna, I think you'll agree with me. You know, you can boil it down to make it sound bad, like saying, you know, why would I care about a statue? But legitimately, and I'm saying this unironically, there are statues both in Fate, apparently, and in real life that are more interesting than some of the 2D archetype waifus that we get. Like, I'm not saying that ironically, I mean that. Like, a statue absolutely can be more interesting than some of the anime archetype, you know, bullshit that you get in these games, right? So, like, unironically, that doesn't mean a lot when you use statue as an insult, so... But, yeah, that's more damning for the industry, I would say. Alright, let's see. I'm not gonna go slow-mo until, we get through this turn here. Yeah, these are indeed different animations, though. Why was that? What was... Do we have, like, a baby dog? Is that what it was? Is it not grown up yet? I saw that glitch. Okay, we'll do these. I did not bring guts again, but whatever. Alright, we'll do that. Although we'll see the same art animation twice, most likely, so that kind of sucks. Should have done Buster or something just to see the different versions of it. He's packing heat, boys. Oh my god, I hate when they do this. Oh my god, and everyone acts like it's a lore thing. It's not. Every time they do this, it's just an excuse to be like, oh my god. Like, chat, there's a point where you have to accept a pattern of behavior and it's not lore, right? Constantine just magically goes to stage 3 in his NP. She just magically goes to stage 3 in her NP. There's so many characters like that. They're doing it so they don't have to make a different NP animation, and like, especially for the cut-in, right? They only want to do the one cut-in, right? They don't want to make a cut-in for, you know, every sprite. Holy shit. Yeah, BB was actually like that for a long time. They actually only, just last update, they actually changed it. Which shows that it was never a legit thing to begin with, right? That proves it. Seriously, them patching BB and making custom sprites for the different ascensions and costumes show that they never did it for any, you know, for any artistic reason. They did it to cut corners, right? Oh my god, I'm so tired of that, dude. Because like, if you're not gonna do the effort, then don't make the cut-in, right? If you're not gonna make the cut-in for stage 1, 2, and 3, don't do it. Right, and there's so many servants these days they do that, where there's like an obvious reason why their NP should be different between like one stage and another, and then they just come up with a reason for it not to be. Like Dino Mom, right? I remember the second I saw Dino Mom's NP, I was like, you're literally doing this to have an excuse to make the NP animation match no matter what her sprite is. It was so obvious, right? Like, wow, what a coincidence that she just happens to be on all 3 stages, you know, in an order that it doesn't matter what stage you put her in, right? It's fucking lazy. You know, every once in a while, I think it can work, but it's generally lazy, especially when you have other characters that they don't do that with. You know, sometimes occasionally they do make the cut-in match the character, like Achilles or something, right? Am I wrong? I don't think I am. I mean, I literally always use him in stage 2, and I don't think I've ever even seen someone not put him in stage 2. But I'm pretty sure Achilles' cut-in art matches if he doesn't have the scarf in stage 1 and it's the golden catastrophe in stage 3. I'm pretty sure that's the case. But someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that one. It changes? Yes, I thought so. Alright, let's see the close range buster here. That's pretty stiff. How do you all feel? I would say overall I like the animations in the other stage more. That puppy rush though. And Lobo, buddy, you almost killed us right there. I was like, I need at least one more turn here. Not feeling either, to be honest. I mean, I'm not like super crazy about the other stage, but I think it's alright. I think the animations are, you know, fairly fun. Like, yeah, they're kind of lazy in terms of like animation quality, but they did it in a way that it still worked, I would say, for the most part, so I didn't mind it too much. I mean, I do feel like this character is going to be forgotten about really quick, aside from people that just think she's hot. I think that it's one of those, right? It's like a lot of the previous kind of filler waifus. I really wish they wouldn't make characters like this. And I don't mean in terms of design, archetype, voice acting. That's not what I mean. I don't think it takes Sherlock Holmes to see what I'm talking about here. There are just times that they add characters for an event that's a throwaway event that does not have a meaningful story. You know, it's glorified dailies. Everyone forgets about it in 5 minutes, and they just conjure up. Normally a weeb, they just conjure up, you know, whatever waifu they can to just slap in the event, and then they're forgotten about aside from the people that just think they're hot, and then that. I wish they just wouldn't do that, and they don't get very good sales off of them. You get such diminishing returns. It makes you just bloat the cast, right? You're adding a lot of like bloat in terms of gameplay and everything. It's not good. When there's that many forgettable characters, it convolutes and it dilutes, not convolutes. It dilutes the entire cast, right? I'm not a fan. I really wish they wouldn't do that. If they don't have an inspired character to add, don't add one. Right, and add a fancy skin. Sell like an epic legendary skin for $15 or whatever instead. Focus on animation updates instead. I mean, we haven't had an animation update in forever, and instead of getting like an animation update, right, we get this, right? And I know, and again, I'm sure some people like this character, and that's fine. But you can see what I'm talking about, where this is just not inspired like a lot of the other characters are. This is not. There's not as much meat on the bones here like there is on Percival or something. Right, or even Morgan, even though I don't like what they did with Morgan, but like it's just not, this is phoned in. And like we've had a lot of characters like this, where you just have these random events that, you know, are not very meaningful, they're not connected to the story in a tangible way, or a good standalone event. It's okay for an event to be standalone, right? But this is not a memorable event. This is going to be forgotten about so quickly. This event is going to be so swept under the rug so quickly. And I don't think you need to add a throwaway waifu every time you make an event like this. Also, it's always a waifu, by the way. Like, there's like Hokusai was ultimately one of these. They've kind of done more with her since then because she got really popular. But Booty Lancer is another one. What's her name? The Burb. Like, there's a lot of these characters that they kind of just add with no real reason, and they're kind of just added and they just kind of get forgotten about. And yeah, it's not doing anyone any justice, and it's not fair to the artists either, because like when they want to make a new character, obviously they generally, you know, contact an artist and all that, and the artists don't phone it in. I don't think the artists ever phoned it in, but you know, the character's not done justice in the game, right? They're kind of just in a whatever event. They're not characterized very well. They're not fleshed out. You know, they're meeting a quota. Like, oh, we need to add a new character, so let's just come up with a reason to add a new character. And yeah, I just don't think I don't think that's the way to do it. So I wish they just wouldn't. Yeah, Crane's kind of in the same boat, I would say. She's very unique gameplay-wise, at least, but there's a lot. I mean, there's too many to even remember, to be honest. Like, there's that caster they added not too long ago. But this is a classic example of just, you know, generic waifu being added for no real reason and it's going to be forgotten about. Hell, Yang was one like that too. Again, she became a bit more popular after the facts have done a little bit more with her, but Yang is another one they kind of just added for no real reason. So what we're actually doing is showing off Lobo's NP. That's actually the point of this. Boy, she is not a very interesting unit, though, I have to say, in terms of gameplay. Like, it's okay. She's got the basic stuff you need to have her be functional, right? She's got damage up. She's got anti-debuff, which is not a bad thing. A little bit of hard survival. Not a lot. It's only one hit evade, but it's something. She's got the battery for herself, and a little bit for the teammates. Not much, but a little bit. But it's nothing unique. Nothing like, just a little bit of value in everything, but nothing really strong. You know, she's got a little Star Bomb. She's got, like, you know, a little evade. You know, instead of a full turn evade, it's a one-hit evade. You know, a little anti-debuff for one debuff, right? Debuff immunity one time, right? It's just nothing to really, like, oh, wow, this unit's gonna really excel in this situation. Like, Arjuna, it's so obvious to be like, yeah, Arjuna is incredibly good if you need an AoE archer and it's like a debuff fight. He's like the best Actually, Arjuna, to this day, I think Arjuna probably is the best anti-debuff unit in the entire game. Like, he has, if you use Atlas, he's got like 10 turns of debuff immunity. And you don't even need to get his NP to do it or anything. It's just click button nearly in, and it's not charges. He doesn't have like, 3 charges of debuff immunity. He's just debuff immune, just period. Super Orion is up there too, though, because Orion can get pretty good uptime on his NP, so. Okay, the one thing we haven't looked at yet, I guess, is Lobo. So, does anybody have a good Lobo? Because mine is NP1, among other things, so. I've not really bothered preparing my Lobo until I get an NP2. The second I get my Lobo to NP2, oh, okay, Max got it. That gives me a lot of faith right there. But yeah, the second I get my Lobo to NP2, then I'm gonna like actually try to get him to 10, 10, 10 and all that. We'll fight Emiya, because we know he's man, so that makes it easier. That is not the right, no, that is the right thing. Fint is good for debuffs, but only in like a short term. She's like a burst. If she shows up, she's immune to debuffs for why she's doing what she's doing. She buffs everyone, she buffs herself, she throws out her NP, then she's useless. Right? But that's how she's supposed to be. But why she's showing up and enabling the burst damage and the buffs, she's not going to get debuffed. And that's good. I mean, she's not going to get skill sealed at a bad time or NP sealed. Like, she is going to do what she's going to do, right? It's very hard for the enemy to stop her. Alright, let's see. You can probably just check the art in stage 1, Arjuna. Although, again, it probably won't update unless you, switch stuff around, because that's how this game be. Okay, in other words, I don't even know the difference. I think there's less busy work. I think stage 2 just had extra stuff. Like, there was like an extra coat or something, but this is pretty much the same thing. That did not change too much. It changed so little that I couldn't actually tell you what the difference was. Like, there's probably something different, but she didn't have the apron in stage 2. Okay, so I guess they actually took something away there. Alright. Oh, Max is already added. Feels good. Extra slot, and there he is. And look at that. Look at that CE, chat. That's nice, especially because Lobo has he's got like those 2 art cards, so you might do like, quick on his NP turn, and then maybe you do Buster art, right? And that means just quick up's not enough, right? You kind of want, I don't know, maybe an attack up, chat. All right, here we go. I'm gonna save this team because I'm gonna use it for the video for Ezo after the stream. Hi, chat. All right, oh no, he's quick! Why? God, why are we 7 years into this game and we don't have a quick support for budget? Like, what? How does this happen? I don't understand. Like, it's such a fundamental, basic bitch thing. And I see idiots on Reddit and shit saying crap like, we don't need any more low stars because they already have everything. I'm like, we don't have a single target caster. We don't have a fucking quick support, let alone having more than, it's good to have more than one of these things. Cause let's say they finally add a budget quick support and you hate him or her or whatever, and you don't want to use them. And so you want another one, right? Cause for a lot of the budget stuff, you get more than one option, right? Where when they finally add one, that's only going to be, why do I see the, okay, nope, I didn't see anything, chat. Nope, I didn't see anything. Chat, I didn't see a damn thing. I'm back to ranting about no quick support. But yeah, we need that. We need all kinds of damage types for budget. All kinds of utility types. Chat, I hate, out of all the memes that you all have grabbed onto, I hate that one the most. I hate that one the most. And there's so, look at you all. Look at all these people in my fucking chat right now where their names have like lowercase and then all capital. And then there's people with like all lowercase and like 8 words fused together with no distinction of where the word, look at say. How, look at that garbage, right? There's no indication where it goes from one word to the other or one name to the other, right? Like what the fuck? What are you all doing? Yeah, Icy started it, absolutely. This is nonsense. Look at all these, and they're proud of it. Look at you guys. You're proud of this shit. You're Coco-Dioing all over my chat in here with your disgusting names. Yeah, out of all the goddamn memes, that is the worst one because it's actually hard to read anyone's fucking name. Chat is forcing me to agree with Green. You know what's funny, Lost? You don't want to admit it, but you and I agree on many things because we're from a similar time. I would put it that way. All right. I never know what to do when we want to do budget stuff for quick. It's so shit, dude. Like you have Hans, but everyone has Hans, right? Buster has Hans. Art has Hans. That's not helpful, right? There's nothing for quick. I mean, there's Alex, but that's just not that good. Might just have to take what we get though. You know, oh man, guys, 20% quick up and like 16% attack up. Oh, it's so good. Meanwhile, Mozart gives you 64% art up, and 20% of it is for 3 turns. And I mean, 64%, that is massive. And he gives you crit down, and he makes 50 stars. Like, and what does Alex do? It's like, okay, to be fair to Alex, Alex really does do something when you need the buff removal. Sometimes there's boss fights where buff removal is awesome, but that has nothing to do with quick, right? That has to do with utility, that's independent of that, so. Let's see. Sir, my Eric is level 100, thank you. I will smack you. I'm actually so proud of this unit, and I like him a lot, and I just wish he would get an animation update already. I'm waiting on that like so much, chat. Okay, I guess we are gonna use Alex at some point. Maybe we can remove the evade with it. What else? Crit stuff is good. So this is another time Matahari would be okay. Really, if you want to be a quick player and you want to be a budget player, or your favorite units are quick and you want to do budget, you need to level Matahari. Like, even though she's not unique to quick, you just... Basically what quick has to do is bring the best standard supports that aren't quick specific, right? You got to go with like Caster, Martha, Hans. So the Caster, Martha is kind of only like in middle, you know, welfares are in the middle when it comes to budget, right? But anyway, you pretty much got to do Matahari, Hans, Alex, and you know, Caster, Martha if you have her, right? That you have like no other options. And I guess David, you know, I mean, who the fuck doesn't level David? Oh my god. Like, very rarely do I see that. Like, most people really do have enough sense to always level David, but every once in a while, I see someone stuck on, like, King... I've seen this. I got a comment over the years where I've had people be like, they're looking at King Protea, and they're like, I don't have David. And I'm just like, well, go fucking level him then. Like, there's no other advice I'm going to give you other than that. Like, the best you can do is, like, summon a friend's Merlin, but... honestly, for real, David is better than Merlin in the King Protea fight, unless you're trying to do like massive burst damage with Buster and like win in 1 turn or something. Like it's not even comparable. David is just better than Merlin. He is so much tankier in that fight because Merlin takes double damage where David does not, and then David has a defense up and a heal and a team might evade. Like that, he's so much tankier than Merlin. Merlin will just die so fucking easy in that fight. So Merlin, of course, is still good for King Protea, but like I completely stand by David is better than Merlin there. So you absolutely should level David for that shit. Yeah, I've done like 4 videos on Protea. I think what I did, oh my god, I think what I did, am I wrong? 'Cause I don't actually watch my own videos, especially commentary, right? Like I actually have watched some of my own videos for like boss fights I really like, right? I just want to remember the boss fight or whatever, right? But I don't watch my own commentary. But I'm pretty sure what I did in the original video, I kept it budget for budget's sake, and I did double David, and because I think I said this in the video, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the commentary one, I say that because I did double David, and because it's better than Merlin, and some people won't have a friend that has David slotted, I brought David Merlin because it's weaker, and it is fucking weaker. Like double David is absolutely better than David Merlin. But I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I literally brought Merlin to just mimic what the average player is going to experience. That's like the only time I would do that, by the way, is when I'm making a video like that, where my only goal is to help people and be purely practical and whatnot. Because I was aware that you know, David's not exactly a common support slot, even though most people have him. I bet you some people didn't believe me. I bet you some people didn't fucking believe me if I say David is better than Merlin. I bet you some people are like, nope. Because like they just can't see past the other 99% of the content, so. Anyway, I just don't know what the fuck to bring here, dude. Fucking quick units. This is so obnoxious. And I like quick. Quick's my favorite, and it's just so garbage every time you try to do budget with quick. I mean, it is so tangible. You feel it, like with their clear times and everything. It's just so fucking noticeable. Like, I'm about to bring Mozart just to give art up to Lobo's 2 art cards, because like, what the fuck else am I going to do here? I could start with Martha, I guess. Yeah, then I want someone to die, then have him come in to remove the evade at the end or something. Oh, Jesus. How is anyone gonna die, though? I can let them die to Unlimited Blade Works. That's the advantage to fighting an AoE NP, is you can intentionally kill someone, and you can force cycle. Like, I'm serious, that's a very good thing. Now there's advantages to fighting single target too, because taunt is just outrageously overpowered when you're fighting a single target NP. But do we want 2030 again? That's probably fine. What does he need? I guess we want a Shinji to just land the charm. Where the hell is Shinji? God damn it, I always have such a hard time finding his craft essence. There it is. Get in the fucking robot. What the hell after that? If we keep going past that, it's probably not looking so good. Although if Hans dies to the NP, another one would show up anyway. Chat, there's a level in, Earth Defense Force 5, right? Where you fight, this big bad boss. It's like a giant, like, Godzilla-style monster, right? It's like ginormous. And in the level, which they have like 5 levels leading up to, right? Leading up to this like big climax, you have to like do all this stuff to like acquire this ginormous mech, right? And in the level, they just like drop the mech off and like it drops down and they tell you to get in it, you know, get in the robot. And normally people want to be in the giant robot, right? Because it's actually got unique gameplay. You get to punch the giant monster and all that. But I did that level with some friends the other day, and the level started, and every single one of us was just standing there trying to get someone else to get into the robot, because we just wanted to fight the giant monster on foot, because we like really liked the characters we were playing, and we just didn't want to be in the giant robot. And so we were just sitting there for so long with no one getting in the robot. And eventually, I'm pretty sure Cairo just said, like, you know, Shinji, get in the damn robot. And I think then someone actually just get in it. But yeah, we were just sitting there like for ages, not doing the thing that most people would want to do, but that's just how it is. But that game is awesome, by the way. But let's see. What can I do here? Yeah, I almost never pilot that robot. I really like the regular classes, so I don't want to be in a vehicle half the time. Do that. Dude, look how we have no damage. We have no damage, dude. This is so fucked up. Lobo's gonna have to do a lot of work here. Hopefully he's up for the challenge. Look at all this quick support. What were they thinking with this? I just don't... Fuck it, Mozart at the end. I got nothing else, so it's either Mozart or fucking Fuma. Yeah, I guess Fuma. Oh no, it's right, my ult account doesn't... My ult account has really fallen behind, dude. As time has gone on and they buffed more things and they put things behind, like you have to beat Shimosa and whatever. Like, this account used to have all the basic stuff you would need on a budget account. It doesn't anymore. Like, it's actually lacking. Okay, if he was 10-10-10, I'd actually be kind of happy with this, but he is on my main, unfortunately not over here. So, Poi Poi, which a lot of you probably know from chat, Poi Poi likes this like really speedy ambulance vehicle that you can get, and it basically will heal anybody that gets in it. right? And it's very fast and very maneuverable, but it has no weapons. And what Poi Poi will do is he'll throw turrets onto the ambulance. And so we'll be like in the middle of a really chaotic, really tough stage, and then you'll just hear sirens, and you'll see this fucking ambulance doing like initial D, drifting around a corner, kind of like blasting towards you with turrets all over it, shooting in every direction. I am not exaggerating at all. Like, this has happened so many times where like shit's hitting the fan, there's bad guys everywhere. I just hear this siren getting louder and louder, and I turn around and I basically hear deja vu. And it's Poi Poi blasting in an ambulance with turrets all over it. It's fucking amazing. Dude, I truly love that game. It's one of my favorite games I've like ever played. It is so much fun. It is so good. Try to heal her butt. Absolutely. Alright, where is a star bomb? We need, there we go. Alright, David can just do the typical. Default. Yeah, the only complaints I have about EDF, Earth Defense Force 5, is it starts a little slow. But not that bad, and there's so much to learn with like how to play your fucking character properly that it's kind of useful. But other than that, it's great. I think it's on sale right now. I highly recommend it, especially if you can play like with a buddy. Just pick hard mode, play through the campaign, co-op together. You'll have a good time. I do want to stream EDF at some point. It's just normally when everyone's free, right, and I can play with like Cairo and like my brother or Poi Poi, it's pretty damn late at night, and it's hard for me to stream that late. I should like record it and make like a highlight video or something, because every once in a while, man, there's some pretty wild stuff. That game can get hard as shit too. They kind of let you control that though. You can tweak the difficulty settings, and you can change like your own power level and whatnot. But you can make that game hard as fuck. But yeah, I recommend that game. It's great. I thought it was gonna, like, when I had just seen videos of it and stuff when I was younger, I thought it was like gonna be like kind of like Dynasty Warriors, right? Where you're just kind of brainlessly murdering really weak enemies. It's not that. It's not. Now, they'll throw as many enemies at you as Dynasty Warriors, but they're fucking killers and they will murder you. Alright, shit, I wish we had 10% more battery and I could just go bam right now. Well, let's take advantage of this lasting 3 turns now. We already have guaranteed crit, and I don't even, I don't need the star bomb. Alright, I'm actually quite curious what damage we get out of this. Just one Buster card here. Oh, we're in slow-mo. Chat, you're gonna have to really enjoy this Lobo Buster card here. And room service from Martha. That was a pretty basic one. Respectable damage, though. Nice damage, nerd. We got our chunky defense buff. Alright, NP time. I don't know why I didn't cast this earlier. It won't matter though, with the way this fight is, I'm not gonna like keep Hans alive for a long time. Alright, we can Star Absorb again. So, I want to NP on her, but I want to do Art. Well, you know what? I can stall him. He can't NP here because I got NP seal, so I can delay it a turn. Unless he clears debuffs, which I don't think he does, so I think we're alright. Also, we might not break. I think I may be overconfident here. Nope, that was plenty. Damn. Woo! That's a shame he was already, health bar was already broken, because those crits weren't half bad. Oh, it was Emiya. Shit, Chad, did you have any idea? I don't know, I thought it was, you know, a mysterious masked fighter, but actually it was Emiya this whole time. Fuck. Very, quite the plot twist there. They needed to hide his name with, like, Archer of the Mask, you know, otherwise people would, it would be spoiled, chat. We almost looped. So we can save our buff removal. Although I would actually like the debuff on it. And Alex is coming. But I'm gonna evade, so it doesn't, yeah, we'll just wait. Alright, we'll use this turn to just build up. Alright, Hans, come on, give us that attack buff so we get a really big turn. This is actually pretty smooth. But, I mean, we're in our niche, so I would hope so, but still. It's Nameless from Fate Extra. Oh, shit. Chat, I got them confused. Nameless pretending to be him, yeah. Evade, I dare you. So he's scripted to do his damage up before NP, that's rare. But that means he only has one action left after his NP, because it's not a free action, like he's actually doing it. I wish he had evaded, because I have like double debuff removal here. Well, no crit buff for you. I'll save the charm. I guess if I charm him and he lives and he has no action, so he couldn't cast it. And he's probably dead. Yeah, just to show off, we'll do that. Don't even need it. Oh, he is so dead. Look at this, we got 2 guaranteed crits. That was very smooth. Like I said, gameplay, I'm ready to zeke the app, but thank you for reminding me. But that was super smooth. Lobo throwing out pretty consistent damage. We just hit stars all the time. Very nice. I hope he lives just so I can see the crits. Nope, he's dead. How much was it? Don't have a lot of time because I gotta zeke the app, but game. I think the game crashed. Well, I don't need to know what the damage was. Shit. It was a decent amount, I'm sure. It zeeted you. Yeah, that's accurate. Alright, let's use Ezo wrong account then. Let's use Ezo versus Richard. He's obviously gonna get destroyed because the dragon is not humanoid and he's not man. But we have our increased NP damage. But this is Ezo in like his worst case scenario. So he's not gonna do well, but we'll see how far he gets. You know what's messed up is Ku can probably solo the dragon even though the dragon is a saber. And Ku's gotten very close, and I've never used maximum Ku. I truly think if Ku gets lucky and everything else, I think Ku can solo the dragon, when the dragon is a fucking saber. And Ezo's probably about to get bodied, and, you know, he's not being counterclassed, so... Bit of a value shift there. Although in Ezo's defense, he really is a specialized unit, right? He's supposed to be a bit weaker if you're in a generic context, but, still, even if he had his anti-humanoid, I don't think it would make enough of a difference for him to win. Now, maybe if he had his anti-man thing, then it actually might make enough of a difference. I think heal would be good. I think heal would be good. I think he'll live long enough that we could heal twice. So I'm thinking heal boost on Art and heal on Buster, because we'll probably heal for 4,000 to 6,000. That's enough to make a bigger difference than like one extra crit's gonna do, right? Alright, we'll give Ace a second, and I'll take a quick break to like grab water and that kind of stuff. I'll be back in just a moment, and then hopefully Ace... Oh yeah, I gotta use Siegfried more, dude. That buff, man. I don't know what they were thinking, but I'll take it. He's actually pretty fun though, and it's... The reason Siegfried is so fun, and hello Rope, thank you for the 20-month sub, dude, I really appreciate it. But Siegfried was already really, really fun. The whole dragon synergy working with George thing is just fun. It's just a fun gameplay thing. And his buff, which has nothing to do with that, but his buff, because it just makes him better, it's easier to justify doing the Siegfried dragon gimmick thing. So, it's just really fun, right? Even though the buff itself is not even the part that makes it fun, the buff makes it really easy to do it. And yeah, it's awesome. I actually really been enjoying using Siegfried these days. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta get water and all that. And thank you again, Rope, for the 20-month sub. Be back in just a second. Chat, why the fuck is this event Lost Belt 3 locked? We're over here fighting enemies with like 60k HP in the main story, and this event is Lost Belt 3 locked. I could not be more disappointed than that. Like, I was hoping this event was going to be like, you know, good a final CCC, a tower event, right? You know, something with some meat on its bones. And it's just, you know, a little story note every day that's super easy. And then a free quest. You know, it's just like a daily stage. Like, what the fuck, man? And they talked about it in advance, right? They were like, there's an upcoming event that's Lost Belt 3 locked, right? And they said that before the stream, right? They led into it for quite a while. And it's just garbage. I mean, it's just fucking garbage. Like, did they actually expect us to get excited for this crap? Like, Jesus. Maybe they're biding their time for the anniversary. I always forget, when is the anniversary? How close are we? I think it's in like a few months. Okay, I need to not kill this guy. But I want stars. Okay, we're good. August, okay, so we got a bit. Yeah, the NA one is sooner. Alright, maximum star gen. Could be that. Oh yeah, we got the summer event, right. So yeah, we got quite a ways. Yeah, I totally forgot about the summer events. Which is kind of interesting because they're one of the more hyped events, but oh my god, I never care about summer. They're normally really bad gameplay-wise, and I don't really care about bikinis, so... kind of whatever. Although, hey, maybe we get an animation update. The last low star animation update was last summer, so... which is depressing as fuck. But it is what it is. Alright, this barely does anything. Actually, it's probably not even worth doing. Unless I happen to have better crits than that. Let's do this to try to get a better RNG. Slightly better, but not by much. They probably will do Hawaiian shirt coup someday, but man, they've had so many opportunities to do it. I never expect it. It'll just happen when it happens. Ooh! That was so lucky. I just double crit with super low chances and I had all that crit up. That was so bullshit. I don't deserve that at all, but I'll fucking take it. Okay, I'm gonna do this so I can do my skill again, because that crit spread was terrible. That's way better. Fuck, I don't actually want to do the heal though. But I don't want to do the... Okay. Maybe I make stars? I don't want to whiff the heal. It might sound weird, but it really is not good to whiff the heal here. It's too much health to whiff it. I don't want the heal boost to hit the BB heal. So what we'll do is this. That really sucks, but it's just... It is what it is. Like, I think it'd have been worse to have done it, done damage there. He might need the heal on Art just because it's taking too long for me to set up a good turn. Like, I can heal next turn, but I've waited so many turns and we're not... You want to heal on the first turn you take damage, and I'm not doing that. Because now you're, like, lowering your health thresholds to, like, the next heal. I mean, I could heal now, but I wouldn't even get the double heal, so... Like, I'd only heal for 1,000 to 1,500 instead of 2,000. I can't help but notice that Richard has 0 NP up buffs, which means he's been attacking a lot instead of buffing, even though he has a really high chance to buff. Hey, look, he triple attacked. That's really crappy. Okay, I was wrong. Most units heal on Buster is good. It just doesn't sync up with Ezo very well. Is it worth it to do a suboptimal combo to get 500 health? Actually, yes, because we're like in that bad of shape, with our HP. Even though we're whipping so much damage here. But 2,000 health might very well make a difference on an extra turn. Yeah, you're correct. We're not on the Stheno account right now. We'll probably switch back to that in a second. Although I might go get to work on this Ezo video I'm wanting to make. We'll see. I think I evade now. I messed up. I should have probably done this after the NP. Well, no, we're not gonna live that long. That would be right if we could live longer, but we're not gonna live that long. Let's not be too optimistic here. He's got good star gen though. Bobo is a wolf. Okay, for once I'm happy that he crit because it gave me more NP. I would have not looped if it wasn't for that. Do I want to... Yeah, I want to do this because the crit spread could be better. Oh yeah, that's way better. Honestly, he's actually got a pretty good loop here. The issues are I fucked up with the command codes. And we're getting pretty bad luck with like the amount of damage we're taking. But for fighting an enemy that we don't have either of our niches for, we're doing pretty good, I would actually say. And I definitely fucked up with the command codes. I was definitely expecting this to go worse. Star Bomb command codes are so good for him though, because like he's got okay Star Gen on his own, and then the Star Bomb just makes it enough to actually get you crits. I want to heal for 1,500 on this one. Yeah, we're kind of getting near the end of our rope here. Take the damage. There's not a lot of ways to compare him and Kojiro because one, it's 1-star versus 3-star, and then it's quick versus art, and as we've gone over, there's no quick supports. So it's like they could literally be tied in every way, but then Kojiro would be worse just because there's no units to support him. Let's see. Kojiro definitely has the better toolkit, though. There's really no way around that. Kojiro's toolkit is disgusting, but he has lower stats. If you're, I would imagine, though, if they're both Grailed and super upgraded, if you're fighting humanoid, Kojiro is probably still better. Depending on the team, though. I mean, the team's gonna make or break it more than them, but I think Kojiro is better. If you're fighting humanoid and man, then Izo might be better, because Izo really is no joke in that situation. But they are apples and oranges, because Kojiro's got anti-debuff, Izo doesn't. Kojiro actually has definitely better star gen, especially for his teammates and that kind of thing. But yeah, Izo's got the higher stat line and whatnot. That was not too bad, though. That was, for not getting either of our niches, that was decently solid, I would say. And actually, no joke, Izo does have Castor Toria, which is really strong. Like, Scatty's really good and everything, but Castoria is just so busted. So if you have like your own Grailed Izo and you summon your friend's Castor Toria, that is very powerful. Okay, although if someone's got a, we could do in solo, if someone has a Kojiro that's on par with that Izo, we could show that off. I'm not sure we do, though. Because Izo's pretty meaty. Let's see. I'm assuming he was 2k foe, but actually I don't know. Let's see. How big is this Izo? Yep, he's 2k foe. So, yeah, it'd be pretty difficult to beat that. Doesn't have faux pas, I suppose, so it is possible. And then you could obviously be over 100, but... We might already have Kojiro on record, but Kojiro on the dock is probably before his last buff, but I'm not sure. Does Izo have anti-saber? Well, even if he does, he doesn't have his third passive, so he wouldn't be kicking in. Yeah, it's pretty hard to get his coins, so... Kojiro got to 500k. Was that with his buff? Like, when was that? Because I know we haven't done anything where we actually documented it for a long time, so I'd be surprised if that was his absolute best performance ever, but I'm not surprised that they gave both of them anti-saber, though. It kind of just makes sense with them being like, Manslayer kind of archetype. Makes sense. But yeah, I really want to make that Izo video. I'm just trying to think what I want to do beyond just him murdering Emiya there. Have to figure that out. You try him in a team against Richard, just because that's a giant fucking sandbag. Although he doesn't get any of his niches, so that'd be terrible for a video. I'll probably have at least one enemy in the video though where he's not getting his niche, because it's kind of important to show the difference. It was when his buff came out? Okay, well, fair enough. That does explain that 500k is really good for a 1-star, honestly. Alright, you know what, boys? I think we'll just wrap up there. I know it's kind of a shorter stream, but I really do want to work on the video, and there's very little to do in this event. And we showed off Lobo, we showed off Izo, we showed off the new rider, we showed off the main story for the event so far, so there's not much else we can do today. So I think what we'll do is we'll just call it for now. I'll go work on a video. Tomorrow we'll see what else to add, that kind of thing. And then, honestly, some of these days we might not stream the event just because the event's really boring, so we might try, little Arc Nights in there or something like that, mix it up a bit. But we'll probably at least do it tomorrow and see how it goes. But thank you guys for hanging out. If by some miracle I edit like a maniac and I've somehow finished the video in like an hour, which is impossible, there's just no way, but if somehow I've finished the video really fast, I might stream Arc Nights later tonight, but I can almost guarantee you that's not going to happen because editing takes a while. I'll just put it that way. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Let's see, is our boy Cairo streaming? We will rate him if he is, but I don't think he normally streams at this time of day. He is not. Got Cadroth. Yeah, we'll raid Kadroth then, why not? Go give him some love. I look at his stream and I just see Zenobia on it because we were just talking about her, so that's kind of funny. Alright, there you go, boys. I will see you tomorrow and take care.